betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup, breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. With the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online. The game starts here.
Yeah. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
So there's some things that we're going to do, to try to see if we can't figure out how to minimize that a little bit.
Is there anything specific about in practice injuries? I mean, have you increased the pace or tempo or what you're doing? Or?
No, that hasn't changed. So, but there's going to be some other stuff, in terms of pre-practice that we're going to try to do to see if we can't minimize those things.
And 3 corners on your injury list, do any of them have a chance to play, or that would be ruled out?
No, I think Rico Payton has a chance.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in alive. Much love to the fam. We up in this thing. It's Saturday night Saints talk, man. Big ups to the fam. Had some technical issues yesterday. Couldn't get to you on yesterday, but big ups to the fam. As we up in this thing, we got Dennis Allen. We'll tune a little bit of that. I got it in supersonic mode, so just gotta speed through the process. But big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing, man. Much love to the fam. All right. Shout out to everybody, man. We in this thing. So Saints and Panthers, man. This is the one here. We going out today building this time around. The Panthers are 1-7. Saints 1 game better, 2-6. Saints on a 6-game slide. There's not much confidence surrounding the team at this current juncture of time. But with that being said, there was a lot of stuff. And of course, I'm going to play a little bit of Dennis Allen. I have a point to play about Dennis Allen. In the interview with him talking about some of the things that's going on with the Saints, he made mention of the players only meeting, which is not a players only meeting if the coach is there, as Dennis Allen alluded to. That he was at the so-called players only meeting, which is not a players only meeting, and they ate some Cajun food. They made it a Cajun affair. And I'll give you my thoughts on that later in the broadcast. But big ups to you guys. Appreciate you for being in this live. So good to see everybody, man. Pelicans Nola, Rose, shout out to you. Good to see you, brother. Dukes in this thing. OG Jerry. Big ups to you, brother. Gundam. Shout out to my boy Gundam. No, we did not. Quan Alexander signed with the Denver Broncos. Is that a surprise? Unless the Denver Broncos released Quan, Sean Payton signed him several weeks back. I don't know if people realize that Quan Alexander was signed to the Saints. Excuse me, to the Broncos, but he is. He signed back several weeks ago, if you want to check that out. So, and matter of fact, as of 3 hours ago, the Broncos elevated Mike Burton, who's a former Saint, and Quan Alexander to the active roster. So, just in case you were thinking, Brother Gundam, there it is. All right. Shout out to you, Clint. Good to see you as well. Desi, shout out to you. Much love, St. Doug. Big ups. All right. T Dirty. What's popping, my brother? Good to see you in the chat as well. L Dub. Big ups to you. Much love, M. Nelson. Good to see you, fam. Appreciate you as well. What's up, Ronnie? Good to see you in the chat. Appreciate you. I feel you, brother. What's up, Pammy? Big ups to Pammy Whammy. She in the building. Much love. Good to see you. Hope everything is fine on your side of things. Much love to Ty and everybody else. Much love. All right. Yes, big ups. Brother Robert, how you doing, sir? Big ups to you. All right. Yeah. You talking about dinner salad? Yeah, that's kind of sketchy, huh? That's the only time he gonna wake you up. The rest of the time, his speeches put you to sleep. All right, big ups to you, Big Belly. Good to see you, fam. Pammy Whammy, thank you for 27 minutes.
Thank you. You're fuck too kind.
Thank you, appreciate you, Pammy Whammy. The professor, shout out to the professor in the building. Much love, appreciate you as well, sir. And yeah, okay. Gundam says, yeah, I was kidding about Quan. Inside joke, brother. Yeah, okay, yeah. Much love, brother. Yeah, we be calling for Traquan Smith in a little bit. All right, you know how that's another joke, you know. All right, Keenan says, love the show. I trust the Saints. They're probably going to win this game, then go up to the podium and sell us. Yes, thank you, Keenan. Appreciate you, brother. No, you good. No, Gundam, you good, brother. You know, you all good, brother. Much love. You know, that's just what I do, brother. I got to, you know, I just, sometimes I don't know. What's up, Edward? Shout out to you. But nah, the Quan Alexander thing, I thought that was been a real good idea to get Quan Alexander back. I never understood why the Saints didn't reach back out to him. He wasn't incredibly expensive. He was really on the cheaper side. He would have been a good veteran to have mixed among our linebackers. He's a good coverage guy. He knows the system. But the linebacker core the Saints currently have, they made a decision to go with Willie Gay Jr., who they see as a higher prospect. I don't know if they sign Willie Gay Jr. back after this year. They already committed money to Pete Werner. They still have DeMario laced in for a couple of years, and you got a 1-year deal for Chase Young. You got a 1-year deal for Willie Gay Jr. And several other Saints players have 1-year deals that currently occupy, well, not currently, but at some point during the season, were starters like Will Harris, who did a pretty good job before he was hurt. So it's pretty interesting to see how this all is shaping out moving forward, to be quite honest with you, man, to be honest with you. Shout out to OG, been a member for 4 months. Big up. Thank you. You're fuck too kind. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, Mike, shout out to you. Says, if the Saints lose to the Panthers, don't let Allen on the plane, let him walk. That's what I said, you know. And see, and the thing is, you know, we'll see. T Dirty, you right, brother. Says Saints will win tomorrow, then beat their chest for beating up a blind one-legged midget. They're gonna go dancing there. They're gonna dance and proud. And that's what I was said about taking the smoke machines and those dumb lights and them dancing in there like they did something, man. Listen, bro, take all of that out there. I've been saying that for the last couple of years, man. We got to have more of a business approach in winning these games. Like we are supposed to win. We got a good team. We supposed to win these games. These guys dancing in the locker room like they won a freaking Super Bowl, man. Come on. Take them stupid lights and them dumb fog machines and all that garbage out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if Bill Belichick would allow some bullshit like that. Bill Belichick wouldn't even allow that because winning is something that you're supposed to do the majority of the time. You're supposed to win the majority of the time because you're getting paid to win. You're not getting paid, nobody cutting you a check to lose. So if you hear, you're supposed to be winning 80+% of the times. Nobody paying for no loser. Nobody wants a loser around because that's bad energy. You occupying at the end of the wrong side of the spectrum. We don't want that. So nobody pays for losers, man. Let's get that straight. That's a universal principle, right? We don't pay for losers, man. We don't pay. We're not giving you money and giving you money for you to house losers. You know, especially people that's so out of touch, man. Some of these guys are way out of touch, man. Way out of touch. Way out of touch. Take 6 stinking games before we got to call a player only meeting. Then let Dennis Allen in there. Y'all not serious about winning. What is he doing in the players only meeting, eating crawfish and shit or whatever they was eating? But I'm gonna cover more of that as we move forward, man, because that's not how winners think. We don't sit up here and talk about the concept of player only meetings and tell the meeting we're gonna have some. You ain't serious, just go and do it. And then we'll hear about it after you do it. Don't sit up here where we about to call a meeting and all this, but no, just go and do it. Fix it. That's where I'm at with mine, man. That's where I'm at with mine. Nah, bro. Yeah, I was thinking about getting David Shaw, but that would have been uncomfortable for me to bring David Shaw in here to talk about the Saints and the Panthers, man. I'm so disgusted with all this crap with the Saints. Mickey Loomis. I know we're part of the purge process, but the players are a big part of this as well. We can't, separate them from the blame of what's supposed to be happening. And I'm saying everything that's 1,000% facts. There is no excuse for a team that's calling players only meetings and for the first time in I don't know how many years, because they didn't do it in the first year under Dennis Allen. They didn't do it in the second year under Dennis Allen. And they waited half the year, 6-game losing streak before they had the concept of calling the players only meeting. And they didn't do a players only meeting. They had him up in there. And he's a part of the problem. So these people not serious about no winning, man. Yeah, they'll beat up on Carolina. I picked them way last week. I say they'll beat Carolina because they're not worse than Carolina. There's levels to losers, obviously, right? Carolina is the worst team, but at least they have the excuse of having a young quarterback at the helm. What's the Saints' excuse? If you believe in excuses, at least they can say they're a team that has a bunch of young people. Blah, 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 blah. They got a first-year coach there who trying to build the right system. So it takes time. So they understand that principle. What could the Saints say? Dennis Allen been here for a decade. Denny been sitting up here for 3 years, going on his third year. What is it? Third year? Yeah, of having his system installed here. What is his excuse? There is no excuse for this. There's no excuse for this. And this won't be tolerated. I don't know who these people think they are, and thinking that the family base gonna sit by and just continue to funnel money and stuff their coffers full of money while these teams on the field is stinking it up. We not paying for no losers, bro. That's the bottom line. We don't give money to losers. And a team calling themselves losers. Yes, you are a loser because you waited 6 games to notice that you were a loser. So that tells me you didn't get it in 5. You didn't get it in 4. You didn't give it in 3, and you damn sure didn't get it in 2. 2-game losing streak. There's issues and errors before you start tumbling downhill. But when you pay attention to your check and you getting paid, whether you win, lose, or draw, you tend to forget about the consequences of what happens when the support base realize that this team is operating with a lot of people stealing money. And not that they're even stealing it. The Saints are giving it to them. It's a charity over there because they damn sure ain't playing nothing on the field to deserve it. They're not earning their paychecks. They're not. Several players are doing everything they can. This offensive line needs to be retooled. The offensive coordinator, somebody needs to take over the duties of it because the offense is regressing. Despite players he's getting, you still have to be able to establish a running attack. The Saints haven't used it in combination of success. So that means jobs if you got the same people calling the same plays on a 6-game losing streak, barreling down the season, and they still doing the same shit, you're not serious about winning. Guys supposed to be losing their jobs. Guys supposed to be released. Offensive coordinator supposed to be downshifted, and another guy supposed to be put in there to call the plays. Rick Dennison. The head coach needs to give up his defensive coordinator play calling assignments to the defensive coordinator and become a head coach, if that's in the loose sense of the word. Things have to change. They have to change it up, everything. Interior defensive line need to be reshifted. All of that needs to happen. All of that needs to happen. And it is an imperative. But like I said, when you're not who you say you are and you perpetrating a fraud, eventually you're going to get ripped down off of your podium because you don't supposed to be there in the beginning. You don't have the characteristics, the mindset, the attributes needed to lead a team to consistent winning. It's just not embedded in you. It's just not a part of you, and there's no shame in that. But if you're occupying a position in which you don't have said attributes, then you're going to get ripped down very violently. And it's happening right now. And like I said, I picked them to win. But listen, at the time, I didn't realize all of the injuries that's going on with the secondary. And I'm just going to keep you all the way funky with you. Them people not worrying about that. The Carolina Panthers know they garbage. They're headed for the first round draft pick. If they get a win, they're happy with the win. They're not playing under any pressure. Neither is Bryce Young. I've said that on the Patreon special or the Thursday special. These people not under any pressure to win anything. They get Brooks, the second round running back that they picked up. He's healthy. They get him back. Saints banged up in the secondary. Perhaps he can reach up there. We damn sure know that the Saints defense is still susceptible to a scrambling quarterback, which Bryce Young can do. And they have wide receivers that can break down field, that can make plays for him, that he's gaining a camaraderie with. I've studied tape on him, and I see that he has certain wide receivers that he likes. And he will reach out to those guys, not to mention, what's your guy named? Jatavion Sanders, the tight end that they have from Texas. He's another really good young player. Saints have problems with the tight end. Everything we thought we fixed early in the season has reestablished itself as a boogeyman to the Saints defense. The mobile tight end has killed the Saints. The power running back it has hurt the Saints badly. The scrambling quarterback threat has reassessed as Jason Voorhees back from, what was it, Crystal Lake to haunt the Saints. So in the end, man, it takes a mentality and attitude. I don't anticipate the Saints to win big. I expect them to win by 7 points, maybe 20 to 14 or something like that. Anyway, I'll break down my discussions and all that stuff as we get going. But anyway, let's keep it moving. This is the transaction report that's thrown up here by the Saints. Let me get on out the way. There we go. Saints VP and general manager Mickey Loomis announced today that the club has signed cornerback Shamar Jean-Charles, running back Jordan Mims, and safety Millard Bradford to the active roster while placing wide receiver Bub Means and running back Kendre Miller on IR. And they have waived guard Kyle Hergel. They should have waived, what's that other dude? Ali Udo. He ain't doing nothing for the Saints game against the Panthers. They have downgraded running back Jamal Williams, who's dealing with a groin issue. And for the life of me, I don't understand why Jamal Williams has a groin issue. Well, he hadn't done anything. I don't know what's going on. They say he won't even travel with the team. And elevated safety Roderick Teamer and cornerback Trey Herndon from the practice squad. So the Saints will have Jamar Jean-Charles, Jordan Mims, Millard Bradford, Roderick Teamer, and Trey Herndon from the practice squad on to the active roster. Now, of course, we know these guys are going to play because a lot of these guys are banged up. Now, Dennis Allen did say that Rico Payton more than likely will have an opportunity to play. So the Saints, man, they're without a lot of secondary members. Shamar Jean-Charles, 5'10" out of Appalachian State, undersized cornerback there. Spent the majority of the season with the Niners, was signed to the Saints practice squad in week 13 and 3 games on the special teams. He has 28 career games there. He's a 4th-year pro for the Saints, so they'll get him there. He'll be in that situation. Jordan Mims, the seldom used Jordan Mims, running back who has a speed, not so much a power dynamic, but you have seen him use power before, where he catches the ball out the backfield very well, very fluid running back, fits the Saints offensive system, whatever the hell that is. Because I don't know what it is. It just forms into whatever. It's a formless situation right now. You don't know what they're doing. But Jordan Mims is not just a inside runner. The guy has speed inside, outside, can catch the ball like a wide receiver. Don't understand why Jordan Mims has not been used more in the Saints offense with all of the injuries that's been mounting around the running attack and some of these wide receivers. I don't understand why he hasn't been used. That's a question for Clint Kubiak. And then, of course, Miller Bradford. This guy has never played, for us this entire season. He was an undrafted free agent for the Saints in 2024. Spent the entirety of his rookie season on the Saints practice squad from TCU. He was a all Big 12 selection, finished the Horned Frogs, 231 tackles. And for Miller Bradford is a decent defensive back. He's kind of undersized for the safety position, but once again, very inexperienced, and sometimes this happens. You stand to have a little problem there, and of course they talked about the downgrade of Jamal and Roderick Teamer, the elevating of Robert Teamer and Trey Hendon from the practice squad. So Rod Teamer, the safety, will be there, and Trey Herndon, the four. What's Trey Hendon's been in the league? He comes over from, remember the Saints signed him last year. Trey Herndon, not last year, last week rather. He's a 7-year defensive back out of Vanderbilt, 5'11", 185. And he's going to try to come in here and help the Saints out, man. 243 combined tackles for his career up to this point, and 3 interceptions, all of them coming in 2019. So he had a really good year, hadn't been able to get an interception outside of that. Maybe he can help us out Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, right? All right, let's move on to the next one. Here's a bit of the look at some of the little breakdown. Saints look to draw momentum from Carr's return and end 6-game losing skid in rematch against the Panthers. Not only Saints exploited, they expected to get a jolt from the return of veteran QB Derek Carr, who's been out since week 5, but they have a chance to get back on track against the NFL worst Carolina on Sunday. Saints 2-6 certainly don't resemble the world beaters they look like in the season opener when they ran out to a 30-0 second quarter lead and trounced the Panthers 47-10 at the Superdome. They seem to have Carolina's number. The Saints are 3-0 against the Panthers quarterback Bryce Young and have won last two games by a combined 59 points. Says Allen. Dennis Allen said the team's dominant week 1 means nothing. It really doesn't. The Panthers haven't showed much improvement on either side of the ball under first-year coach Dave Canellis. Only 3 teams have surrendered more points through 8 games in the Super Bowl era, and the offense remains near or at the bottom of the league in most statistical categories. Carr, who's completed 19 of 23 for 200 yards and through first half touchdown pass in the first matchup, will look to exploit Carolina's leaky secondary that has allowed 17 TD passes, which is tied for the most in the league. But he's trying to avoid the temptation to take on the outsized role in the offense that is desperately to emerge from the recent rut. I am no savior, says Derek Carr. I am here to be a great leader. How about that? You're going to be a great leader. All right. Great leader. To be a great teammate and to do my job to the best of my abilities. I should bust my Derek Carr impersonation, but I won't do it. Do I feel confident in what I can do? Absolutely. He even answering his own questions. Young gets the nod again. The previously benched Young will make his second straight start with the 37-year-old Andy Dalton still recovering from a sprained thumb. So we know about Bryce Young. We know about the struggles that Bryce Young has had. We know that the Panthers traded their number 1 wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, to the Baltimore Ravens earlier this week. And then they're going to rely heavily on the rookie, Xavier Legette, the speedster, who's very talented, and Jalen Coker moving forward. Coker's a big wide receiver who could play as well. There's a chance that veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen will be back in the lineup this week after missing, and I doubt that he'll be there because I think I was mentioning, I think I'm going to bring up the last injury report, kind of nixed that whole situation. About him being able to be moved into that lineup. But the reality is that regardless of not, Carolina is going through a youth movement, right? And they're going to count on a lot of these guys. That's the bottom line, a lot of these young rookie guys. But let me see if I can see where he's listed. Adam Thielen is doubtful, so he more than likely won't play. And they're going to try to get it done with these guys that they have. Legette said Young showed more trust in Coker and him last week against Denver by throwing the ball up and allowing them to make plays. Leggett and Coker both caught TD passes in Carolina's 28-14 loss to the Broncos. I definitely trust Xavier. I trust all of our receivers. Young said in this league, he says it's a lot of big bang plays, a lot of tight windows and tough throws. Secondary adjustments for the Saints. We know that, and I don't have to go through all this because we know the issues and problems that'll be happening with the Saints secondary. That will be problematic out of the gate, to be quite honest with you, with Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo out for the season, Laddie Daddy, and Kool-Aid McKinstry both on the shelf this week with hamstring issues. Rico Payton probably is going to play, but he is limited. He's also dealing with an injury. Now you go from having Alante the slot man, he's going to obviously move up to be a starter. You're going to have an inexperienced Rico Payton at some capacity. Trey Herndon is more than likely a 7-year veteran that might be stepping into a starting position. Shamar Jean Charles, or however the mixture is going to be. The secondary is going to be suspect as hell. Just to be honest, which is going to be a very suspect secondary. A suspect secondary. How about that? All right. And then, of course, we talk about Jonathan Brooks. This is a second-round draft pick that the Saints have. And what's really interesting is that we, as a team, will be seeing this running back Jonathan Brooks. So, in the end, all I can say, man, is sheesh. Running back Jonathan Brooks was a second-round pick, had an ACL strain last year for the University of Texas. He'll be available to make his debut. It'll be him going up, him and the rest of the Saints defense. Up against the Saints defense. And Chupa Hubbard, who averages 5 yards a carry, will also be a guy that'll be in there trying to make something pop for the team. So in the end, all I could tell you, fam, is that be prepared to see that. Be prepared to see those guys in there. And like I said, this is a young situation with these young players. They'll be in there doing their thing. And let me move on to this, man, before I get back to Dennis Allen's commentary. But this is the Panthers unit right now, right? Let's take a look at the Panthers starting lineup. Bryce Young, we know Bryce Young, their young rookie quarterback. This is a guy they took first overall, last year. And his numbers are not very good, especially this year. 523, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, QBR of 19.3. Not looking good. Didn't turn the ball over against the Broncos last week, but he did get a couple of touchdowns there too. So in the end, all I can say is when you facing a rookie quarterback like this, you think about the Saints defense getting home and knocking them around, doing what you got to do. The interesting part about it is his skill set is problematic for the Saints defense from some of the basic issues that we've seen the Saints have over the last couple of games. The inability to rush the passer and be disciplined while maintaining gap assignments, not pushing too far in, controlling the edge, blitzing and pressuring while controlling the lane, and not allowing the collapse to happen where quarterbacks are just shoot outside the pocket and just pick up yardage like we've seen big Justin Herbert do him. Just run him barreling downfield, taking off and just running downfield unabated. They are susceptible to a scrambling quarterback, and he will take the hell off. If the Saints haven't fixed that, that's a big issue, which he can pick up rhythm with that. And also, even though he hasn't shown much accuracy consistently, he'll be having a very banged up secondary to pick at, to take shots at. So the scrambling ability that Bryce Young, the hazard that he presents with the scrambling asset, and plus the fact that the Saints secondary are down so many people is definitely problematic. Is definitely problematic no matter how you look at it. Chupa Hubbard is their best back. We know Jonathan Brooks will be activated. We've seen Miles Sanders in there, and we know Hubbard is a respected back. I know eventually what they want to do is get a guy like Brooks involved into the system. They want Brooks in there. He's a second-round draft pick that's supposed to combo with Chupa Hubbard. As you can see, he's averaging 5 yards a carry, 6th in the NFL in rushing yards per contest. And it'll be interesting to see how they do it. This is Brooks, the rookie running back that'll get an opportunity to get his run on in there. And he's a guy that runs real angrily. Power runner, has good speed too. Really solid running back they have. They was hoping to kind of get them guys, give Bryce Young an opportunity to have a running attack. Then they have guys like Xavier Legette, who's one of the top guys, 22 catches, 211, 3 touchdowns, averaging 10 yards per catch. He'll be available for them as well. And you heard the report I just read about Bryce Young having faith and confidence both in Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker. Who's this guy? This is 6'3", 200+ wide receiver with decent speed. 12 catches, $186 and a touchdown, but he averages 15.5 yards per catch. And these are some of the guys that you will see Bryce Young and the Panthers offense try to rely on. Also, there's Jonathan Mingo, is David Moore, the veteran there. And of course, Tommy Tremble is the tight end, but Jatavian Sanders is a guy that you got to watch out for. This guy is a very talented tight end. He's the future at tight end position for him. I remember I had scouted this guy. Phenomenal talent. He's going to be really good. 6'4", 250+, has good speed. Good. He worked on his blocking, pretty decent blocker, but 20 catches for $158, averaging 8 yards per catch. He's a very decent weapon there. With injuries to the top tight end, perhaps he will get more opportunity to get in there. And there's really one issue with their offensive line, and that's the big left tackle, Akwanu, who is out. So they'll rely on either Brady Christensen to come in there and play for him at the left tackle position. But Damian Lewis, Christensen, and Hunt and Mutan, those guys are available there for this team. And like I said, man, going forward, it's going to be an interesting game. Defensively, Robinson, Shy Tuttle, y'all remember Shy Tuttle, LeBrian Ray, and then their linebacking core, Harris, Wallace, Josie Jewell, and Jadeveon Clowney will be there. Also, DJ Johnson, who's another potential good player for him, might play in the game. We don't know about DJ Wanham. And then, of course, the secondary with Michael Jackson and J.C. Horn and Smith Wade. And then, of course, the safeties of Richardson and Xavier Woods. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is also on this team. So they got a few talented people. And like I said, man, this team is playing with house money. Let's just be let's be real clear on everything that's going on with this team. They're playing with house money. There is no reason for them to feel like, hey, man, if we beat the Saints, that's a feather in our hat. If the Saints are supposed to beat the Carolina Panthers, they're supposed to be. If anybody in the NFL is supposed to be the Carolina Panthers. So you don't get any comeuppance. There should be no smoke and lights and dancing in the locker room for beating the Carolina Panthers. But at least you have to stop. You have to stop the slide. You have to win the game, break the 6-game losing streak, and then start compiling a winning streak. Usually when you have 5 or 6 game losing streak, you got to have a 5 to 6, 7+ game winning streak, because you done basically wilted away all of the leverage, or wasn't leverage, but all the room that you had in terms of error, all your error or your room for error. Rather, you've basically done flitted it away. You done threw it away with this losing streak, and now you must compile a winning streak if possible. But winning streaks just don't happen. Winning streaks happen when you consistently do things in the correct fashion, while and be as disciplined as you can, make less errors and issues than your opponent, and capitalize on errors and issues that they have, and don't hand them help. Don't help them with pre-snap penalties, bad throws, and interceptions. When you get interceptions, we got to convert the interceptions into points. And this is something that we've seen the Saints do early on in the first 2 weeks, but then after people found them out, they have not been able to replicate that success. Then people say it's because of the injury situation, but you're not built correctly if you at any point, if you consider yourself a playoff or bust team like the Saints are currently constructed to be, and you go on a 5 or 6 game losing streak, you're not built right. You're funny built. And what I mean by that is that you are built in such a way where you could not absorb injuries at all. And that you've seen that happen, especially on the offensive line. The injuries started to the offensive line. It destroyed the Saints early season. It really did. Because they were supposed to have rows of people in place. They had to go several weeks down the line and get McGovern from the Jets practice squad, throw him in there. When veteran offensive linemen should have been plugged and put on the team, especially at the backup center position. The Saints didn't even have a backup center when they started the season. I thought we were prepared to play football here. If any position that you have that you need a solid backup on, it's the center position. At least the center position is very important. It is. It is very important. It's just you needed a back. Saints didn't even have a backup center. They didn't have a backup center. They had to take the right guard and play him at center. It's just crazy. They didn't have a backup center to come in. Just think about that. They were built funny. But anyway, let's take a look at the Saints side of things right here, fam. Derek Carr coming back after missing 3 games. He's going to be rusty. We know Derek Carr stepping back in there. 11-year veteran. We know Carr is going to be rusty. So far, just a few yards off a 1,000-yard season. 8 touchdowns against 4 picks, a QBR 64.7. It's going to be a rust factor with Derek Carr in there. It's just going to be what it is. You miss 3 games. That's just how customarily it happens. So it's going to be a rust factor. He's going to need the running attack. That's AK-41, who needs to – Saints got to figure a way to get Alvin Kamara involved in the offense in terms of the running attack and all else otherwise. If you can use Alvin as a decoy to get other guys involved in the offense, so be it. Jamal Williams is out, but Jordan Mims will be activated. Kendre Miller is out. So there was no Jacob Kabadi that they activated. They went with Alvin and Jordan Mims and Taysom Hill. Those will be your running backs. Chris Olave's back. Mason Tipton. Expect to see Marquez Valdez-Scantling for the first time. He didn't play at all last game. Now that he had 2 weeks of practices, expect to see Scantling in the Carolina game. Mason Tipton has to step up as well. Cedric Wilson Jr. was banged up. Bub Means on the IR. Saints seeing a lot of injuries in the skill set position. There you go, tight end Juwan Johnson. We know Foster Moreau and Dalen Hawker will be there. We'll see who the list of healthy scratches are for the Saints when game day arrives. We'll cover that on the pregame. And, of course, Adam Prentice, Tali Fuaga on the tackle position with Lucas Patrick. Connor McGovern will probably be the center with Cesar Ruiz and Trevor Penning. So we have these guys should play better. I was watching the film on Lucas Patrick and Cesar Ruiz. They looked real rusty coming back off of injury. So hopefully they'll perform better in the matchup because they're going to need to protect Carr. He doesn't handle pressure very well. And hopefully we can get downfield. We need to get downfield in the worst way. Mason tempting Chris Olave to stretch him out. Whatever we got to do, we got to get downfield, man. We got to start getting downfield. We got to get the play action going first so we can hit and get downfield. So we'll see exactly how they all do it with Clint Kubiak. What his game plan is going to be very interesting. Of course, the defense has to do what it's got to do in terms of keeping Bryce Young in the pocket and knocking him down, keeping your hands up to bat the ball down. He's an undersized quarterback. And by all means, making sure we're disciplined in our blitz assignments where we don't give him lanes and areas to be able to escape. We can't do that. And the Saints, and listen, fam, the really important aspect of the game in terms of the preview is that the Saints the front seven have to get pressure on Bryce Young because the secondary is chewed the you-know-what up. You can't sit there and have clean pockets like we've seen the Saints defense donate to quarterbacks of the last several games. We can't allow them to have clean pockets like we would rush Herbert in the game against the Chargers and flustered him early. And then as the game persisted to go on, the Chargers made the adjustments and all of a sudden the pocket got very comfortable for Mr. Herbert, even comfortable for him to escape several times to make big plays. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue. So the Saints up front has to keep pressure on Bryce Young They got to knock him down and fluster him. They also have to stop the run because the Carolina Panthers are all about trying to run the football. So you're going to have to stop the run. Cam Jordan and all these other guys, we know Granderson and Chase Young starts with Cam circulating as a reserve. Shepard and Colin Saunders inside have to do a better job. Brian Brissett, Christian Boyd, we know John Ridgeway is questionable, which means some of these guys are going to have to step up and perform, man. Seriously, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The running attack we have to stop their running attack. We can't let Brooks, we can't let Chuper Hubbard and those guys run on us to kind of open up a lane for them to get into their play action bag to make plays downfield. We can't do that. The Saints front seven is going to have to bring it against that quarterback because the defense is the secondary rather is chewed up with injury. Pete Werner, Demario Davis, and Willie Gay are the linebackers there. And of course, we know Kool-Aid is out. Marshawn is out. Paulson Adebo is out for the season. Those other guys just for this game with hamstring issues. Rico Payton is dealing with an issue, and Rico Payton is the fourth cornerback. And Dennis Allen did say that he was expected to play in this game. We don't know how much, but he had an issue as well during this practice report. Matter of fact, he was listed on the practice report with some kind of issue as what did he have? What did Rico have? He had a back issue. And I don't know how much he was going to play because he was shut down the entire week. Rico Payton didn't play. He was DNP'd the whole week. And I think in this interview, Dennis Allen said he'll play some. So we down to Alante starting at the top position. Then you might see Rico Payton. We talked about them activating Shamar Jean-Charles. Ugo Amadi is going to have something to do with that. They put Milford Bradford and Rod Teamer as safeties, which means Ugo Amadi is going to be playing a little cornerback for the Saints. Trey Herndon is more than likely probably going to start for the Saints. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Trey Herndon in there starting. He's a 7-year veteran. We'll see what happens, but they're all chewed up in the secondary. Of course, we know about Blake Group A, Matt Hayball, RI guys in the special team area side. So, yeah, this is going to be very interesting, to be honest with you, on how the Saints handle these secondary issues is going to be a problem. How they get down with that. And of course, let's get from here. Here goes some of these statistics for these people, man. That I'm getting to the breakdown and play Dennis Allen. As we see, Andy Dalton is the top leader for their squad. With him doing 7 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. Bryce Young, it's the futures now for them as he tries to get him some live game reps with no pressure on. That's another big thing. Bryce Young doesn't have the pressure. This team is not going anywhere. They're going right to the top of the draft is where they're headed to. So there's no pressure for him to win anything. All he can do now is just go out there and have fun and just play free. He does not have the pressure of winning anything. It's a different pressure when you have all the pressure to be a winner right away versus a team that's headed to the top of the draft. Man, you could play as free as you want because the expectations are off. Chuper Hubbard, like I showed you, is the top running back for them. Sanders is second, but expect to see Jonathan Brooks, the 2nd-round draft pick. Deontay Johnson is gone, but Xavier Legette is the top guy as well. He has 22 catches there, and then 20 catches for Jatavion Sanders. That's the tight end I told you about. 3 touchdowns for Xavier Legette, 1 for Coker. So this is a team with a lot of youth there. But the line is decent if you think about it. Xavier Woods is the top tackler, the safety with 56 tackles, 43 for Michael Jackson, the cornerback, which shows you that a lot of guys are getting to the second and third, to get to the third level of the Carolina Panthers defense. Then here come the linebackers, Josie Jewels and Trevan Wallace. The top sack guy is Ashawn Robinson with 2 sacks in the game. The top pick guy is 3 guys, which is J.C. Horn and actually, who's the top? Well, you got 3 guys with interceptions, which is Xavier Woods, Michael Jackson, and J.C. Horn. So it's 1 apiece for each one of those guys. Ain't nothing shaking on that. So like I said, this is a team that we looking at that is the NFL's worst team. That's not, be coy about it. This is the worst team in professional football that we are about to face off against. This is the worst team, which means I call this game, it should be a medicine game of sorts for the Saints. It should be a medicine game, which means all of the things that ailed the Saints for the last 6 games should be something that makes them well. They've been given an opponent that's the worst team in the NFL. So the Saints definitely, if they're serious about anything, they're supposed to be utilizing this as an opportunity to get back to running the ball, to get the play action, to reestablish the offensive mindset of the team. And it should be all about business. If it is indeed about business, that's what it should be about. You being given a preseason game basically against the NFL's worst team. Now you dealing with injuries yourself, but you shouldn't be a 2-6 ball club. You shouldn't be that. But in the end, you are. You have to reestablish dominance as you head into the rest of the season. This game right here should be a winnable game for the Saints. And then the next game is the game where you look up and say, let's see how good you are. You had an opportunity. It's like watching the fights. When you go and you watch boxing, if you're a boxing person and you love boxing like I do, you'll see some of these fighters take a tune-up fight, as it's called. After they have a tough stretch of fights, they'll have a tune-up fight about pretty much a soup can. A guy, you go up there, you beat the guy up, you kind of reestablish yourself, you get some of the ring rust off or whatever you got, and it's a psychological thing. Then the next fight you have, you go against a fighter on your level or might be a little bit better than you, but you don't just jump right there. It's like what's my guy that lost? He got beat up by your guy. I forgot his name, man. I can see his Big Baby. Is it Miller? Yeah, Miller. Not Big Baby Miller, the big guy, but the other guy. Is it Gerard Miller? I want to say it's Gerard Miller. He got beat up by Bacoli. He got beat up by Miller. That's who it was. He got beat by the African fighter Bacoli. Bacoli beat the blocks off of him. But he was a good fighter. He was beating everybody's ass. He was doing it, but the guy was like, "Hey man, you might want to leave that guy alone. Let's have another." That's what they was telling him. But he's like, "Nah, man, I got this, man." And listen, the guy is a good fighter. He's a heavyweight, but he fights like a cruiserweight or a super welterweight or something like that. He's a heavyweight to throw a lot of punches. Most of the big guys don't punch at that kind of volume, but he punches at that volume, which is very unique. And he would beat fighters up. But when he took on Martin Bacoli beat the brakes off of him. Bacoli took all of his power shots, and he couldn't take Bacoli's power shots. And Bacoli put his ass on the ground several times before he stopped the fight. So now you have him now as a younger fight with all this stuff going on in his head. He's like, man, damn. It's all about how you deal with that loss. Even the greatest fighters lost one fight, maybe even two. Muhammad Ali was a fighter that lost several fights. Sugar Ray Robinson, before I even talk about Leonard, I'm talking about the original Sugar. Sugar Ray Robinson lost a bunch of fights. Sugar Ray Leonard lost fights. I think he lost one fight, two fights, something like that. Some of the greatest fighters lost fights, but it's all about how you come back from a loss. Because it's a very humbling thing. You got all of the hardware, all the belts, and all of you the king of the mountain, whatever. But when a guy knock you off your mountain and take your belts from you, you're like, damn, that's a humbling feeling. Because all the belts, all of the light, the energy that comes from being the champion, the spotlight is off you, and now you back on the grind. How do you handle that? You see? Because most people as fighters don't put in their heads to lose, even though they may do everything they can. It's just not in the cards form that fight. That other guy prepared better. He had a better strategy. He ran more than you. You get me? He watched film on you. He studied your tendencies and understood which way you like to lean, which punch you like to throw, and he took it from you. He also broke you down and found out your weaknesses and knew exactly what he needed to do to dispatch you. He understood that you wasn't good enough to go beyond round 6 or 7. So he knew that all he had to do was work on his game to break you down and take you into deep waters. That means take you into the deep rounds of the fight, all up into the 9 and the 10 round to see what you had, what kind of longevity you had. Do your punches still have the same sting on them? Do you still have the same energy? How's your fatigue level? All of that. And then right in the mix of that, as you're in round number 10 and you slowing down and you don't have the same steam on your punches that you had in rounds 1, 2, and 3, you start thinking, damn, I should have hit the bag more. I should have spent more hours in the gym hitting the bag more. I should have been out there. I should have hit the road and ran more to build up my stamina. That's when it all started hitting you. When you're in the mix of it, too late then, baby. It's too late then. Because that other fighter, he did what he had to do. He did that, which you didn't do. That's why he about to whip your ass. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, to use the boxing lingo, is that it's the same thing from a psychological standpoint. You're going to lose, but the job is you're supposed to win more than you lose. And if you do the proper training, the proper homework, the proper preparation, you'll win more than you lose. That's universal principle. You're going to win more than you lose if you go about the business properly. That's science. That's universal principle. Problem is with the Saints, they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. That's why they on a 6-game losing streak, stinking. So anyway, let's take a look at these statistics, man. Hope you all enjoy my little boxing, a little boxing breakdown right quick. Take them into deep water, baby. All right, 2-6 Saints, 1-7 Panthers. I showed this to y'all before, but this is the final time we're going to talk about it in terms of this matchup. And I want to just focus on the fact that the Saints are averaging 23.5 points per game. That's middle of the pack, and giving up 26 points. So you're averaging 23.5 while giving up 26 points a contest. Would definitely put your ass on the losing side of things. No doubt about it. They, on the other hand, average just over 2 touchdowns a game, which is tied for 29th in the NFL, and they give up 34 points a game, which is dead last in the NFL, which means they can't stop you from scoring. Problem with the Saints is they can't score, but something got to give, right? Something has to give. I think something will give. We'll see. Top offense, NFL ranked 319.5 in yards. This is 20th, 281. Almost might as well say 282 for 29th. The Saints rushing offense is ranked 21st with 116.4 yards per contest. The Carolina Panthers are 104 flat for 24th in the league. Saints passing offense, just over 203 yards through the air per game. That's 19th. The Carolinas passing offense, 178, ranked 30th in the NFL. Then you look at the total defense. This is where it gets eye-opening, right, family? The Saints' total defense. They give up 393 yards per game. That's dead last in the NFL. The worst defense statistically in the NFL is the New Orleans Saints in total. It even worse than the Carolina Panthers defense, which is 387.5, which is right behind them. It's crazy, man. And then, of course, you look at the rushing defense. The Saints allow 143.6 yards per game. That's 28th versus the dead last Carolina, giving up 154.6. The Saints secondary surrendered 249 yards through the air a game. That's 28th in the NFL. Panthers at 233 for 25th. So it's going to be very interesting. These are very ugly stats. Saints defensive wise, the statistics don't always account for what things is about, right? But at the end of the day, the stats point firmly at how stink the Saints are in terms of their defense and how they've crumbled over these last 5 or 6 games, so to speak. They begin to break apart and fall and just flake and break apart. Now they need to reestablish themselves against the NFL's worst team. You get no comeuppance for a team you're supposed to beat, but they are supposed to win. Now, as we move forward, fam, let me just say this, man, as we get right into the portion where I just talk about with the Saints, and I pretty much kind of said, you know, what I think should happen in the preview, and kind of talk about what needs to happen for the Saints to have success here against them in the Bank of America Stadium. Running game. The Saints have to, offensively speaking, have to be able to get back to running the football with AK-40, Taysom Hill. They have to get those guys involved. The defense, Saints defense is ranked 32nd. Theirs is 31st, which means there are opportunities for the Saints to get upfield against this team. Can we get the offense? Can we get the play action going so we can get Chris Olave, so we can get Scantlin, because he's supposed to be a part of what they got going on. Mason Timpton has to step up. We need to have somebody to stretch the field off the play action, because I know Carr's going to try to throw out there. We need to get these guys downfield to stretch out the defense. So, like I said, there's a lot of issues and errors, a lot of missed tackles, not full-time football on both sides. The Carolina Panthers kind of play well in spurts, but they lack the consistency to put a full game together. And that's the problem why you see some of these teams, they got a bunch of losses, like in spurts. In certain aspects of the game, they click and they move and they shaking, and then they just collapse. They don't know how to put the game together. They don't know how to finish the game. And to many respects, that's the Saints. And in many of the losing games on the streak, the Saints spotted teams' points. They didn't step up at the right moment to lock in the game. So in the end, man, it's just going to be the battle of the worst teams right now. And if the Saints are better, they seem like they feel like rather that they're better than the Carolina Panthers, who are 0-3 at home, then they can go up there and establish and get back to playing football like they did in weeks 1 and weeks 2. Get back to running and get the play action going. Once that happens, the defense, I think the defense could kind of get off the vibe, because you don't want a situation where you just offense is punting and not fulfilling drives and putting all the pressure on that defense, and they just slowly deteriorate to what they are now. But the defense still has to force turnovers to help out the offense, right? And special teams has to play a part too. You know, special teams last week scored all the points for the Saints. They had they had a 2 field goals and a safety. That was all special teams. Saints offense ain't do shit. So in the end, man, they got with Derek Carr back, Elvin Kamara, and all the guys that Clint Kubiak like to overuse. Now it's the time for them to reestablish themselves. I do pick the Saints to win this game against the Carolina Panthers, despite the fact that we do see that Bryce Young is going to be throwing against a very injury banged up secondary, which means the Saints front seven is going to have to get at him, put pressure on him while stopping the run. They got to do that. The Saints also must get back into running the game, establishing the play action and attacking the secondary of the Carolina Panthers. That has to be something that they do as well. And outside of that, that's all it is to it. It's nothing complicated. They have to execute. So we'll see how it all goes, man, in the end, as we keep this thing moving. Okay, let's move on to this article, fam. Here we go on this one right here. And this is Saints Nate Shepard fined for the play on Chargers Justin Herbert. NFL, and this is from Cat Terrell. NFL fined Saints defensive tackle Nate Shepard over almost $12,000 on Saturday for committing unnecessary roughness against the Chargers. The Chargers players accused Shepard of intentionally trying to injure quarterback Justin Herbert on the play in LA 26-8 win over the Saints. Shepard and the Chargers center Bradley Bozeman were both flagged for unnecessary roughness after Shepard appeared to twist Herbert's right ankle after he had already taken Herbert to the ground. Bozeman jumped on top of Shepard and shoved him away from Herbert. Bozeman was not fined for the play. On Monday, Saints Dennis Allen defended Shepard against the Chargers' accusation. And he was quoted as saying, quote, "Here's a guy that's trying to wrap the quarterback up. He's on the ground. He has no idea whether the quarterback has the ball or not. He's just trying to bring the quarterback down to the ground. There was nothing malicious about that play. It's a guy that's trying to make the play. I went back and looked at the play again after seeing the comments, and I don't agree with that." That's what he told the people. Bozeman told reporters Sunday that he was trying to protect his quarterback who sprained his right ankle in the week 2 matchup. He was given a small ball by Chargers Jim Harbaugh for it. So anyway, that's what some of it did. And of course, we seen the play live, man, when we was doing the breakdown. And I was saying to myself, man, what the hell is Nate Shepard doing? Because he had the guy wrapped up. He knew the guy because the ball was gone. He was on the ground, and then he twisted the guy down. Justin Herbert was like, "What is this? What's going on here?" And Big Bozeman seen him and jumped on top of him and almost twisted his head off. But that, to me, what I seen, that was a dirty play, and I don't appreciate that shit. I was like, nah, we don't operate like that down here. Because you're getting your ass kicked. You don't go there and try to twist the man up, because Lord knows you would be trying to take another team player's head off if he was doing that to your guy. So I commend Bozeman for the move and the bozo move by Shepard. And besides, Shepard to me has not played well. Shepard needs to be benched, not because of that, but he's not playing. Shepard is not a starting defensive tackle. I've said that when we first got him. I thought he was more of a rotational defensive tackle as a starter. And it shows. The Saints are getting ran on, and it's just not popping. We need to put the first round draft pick in there and let him develop. Let Shepard come up off the bench. That's some of the change we're supposed to be having anyway if we're serious about winning something. Some of these guys need to lose their jobs, man. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all, man, right here. If you got any questions, fam, please feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. Please feel free to throw them in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, man. We up in this thing. All right, Greg, shout out to you, brother. Says if they fire DA, not only is going to be this season, it would be doing, he said, hold on, let me reread this again. He said they fired DA, it not going to be doing this season. It will be doing the off season. Okay, I got you, brother. L Dub says we already know Loomis is about to use injuries as an excuse to bring DA back. It's being set up all the way. I don't think they can be, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong on that, L Dub, because I heard Nick Underhill say that. Other reporters say that because of the stubbornness of Mickey Loomis. But listen, I counter that, even though you're right for what you're saying, because that's what they're saying, and that's the truth. But I'm countering that with this: it's not up to Mickey Loomis. Hear me on this. It's not up to Mickey Loomis whether he comes back or not. It's up to you. Each one of you that's out there, I'm talking right to you. You are the one that determine whether or not this guy comes back. What do you mean by that, Q? Once you start taking your season tickets down, once you start pulling the tickets back and telling them why you're taking the tickets back, and you stop going to the games, you stop going to the tailgates. You can tailgate at your house or at your friend's house or at a restaurant, wherever you do, but don't go down there. Don't buy anything from their merch stores, online or real life, offline. Don't support none of their junctions. Don't support none of these Saint-related things, because one person, I'm going to tell you something, that's a lot of money that they get up off of you, not just for the tickets, but when you go down there, you got to pay to park. That's money that they get. They hit you 5 different ways when you get down there. You got to pay to park in many cases. You got to pay for concessions, food that's double, and some of it is triple taxed, rated for you. It's crazy because let me drop a little game on you about the Benson. When he did that beer, when he bought that beer and brought that beer here, the reason why Tom Benson, that was one of the last business moves he made before he got up out of the transition, was he bought that beer. And the reason why he bought that beer, because he wanted cheaper beer to sell to you in them games. That's why he bought that beer. It was always about making as much more money as they possibly can. But the point of the matter is, if you don't go down there, that's not tickets. They don't get ticket money from you. They don't get parking money from you. They don't get concessions from you, that high ass $20 nacho and all that other bullshit, the $10, $15 beer and the $15 Cokes and whatever that is. Hell, I remember we went down there and we paid, I don't know, almost $80 for it. And I'm like, she came back like, $80. Like, what? For what? For this? Yeah. I was like, oh Lord, no. Oh no. What are you doing? We pay for all, and I don't blame them for trying to get over. That's on us. That's on us because we let them go with it. Greedy people aren't going to turn the money down. What they're going to do is they're going to create a PR team to change their image like Gates did. That's what they do. They'll hire a PR firm to soften their image. They'll have old men sitting up there, old greedy bastard eating an ice cream cone in public. That's a very popular one that they use. They like showing you eating an ice cream cone. Or like some of the commercials when they doing the propaganda, they like to show you somebody holding a coffee mug because everybody drinks coffee. That's a way to click into you. Matter of fact, for my Patreon people, I posted some 3 different reports, video reports that I want y'all to check out that goes behind propaganda. I want y'all to watch this stuff because we don't even truly realize it's like maybe 20 versions of propaganda that's out there, and they're using it all right now concurrently. You got to know the game to not be subjected by it. You got to know the game because the system is all based on taking advantage of those who don't know or those who overtrust. You dig? For those who know, you ain't supposed to be subjected to that. You know better, thus you do better. That's code. That's what good code say. But anyway, no parking, no tickets, no concessions, no merchandise, shirts, hats, all that shit marked up doubly. None of that. None of that going down there. None of that. None of that. All of that. That's 4 or 5 different ways of money you done cut off. Now, when you do that, you know what happens? They sit up and take notice. Now, listen, we did the show on Thursday. Whenever I did the show, when we was talking about, I played the Mickey Loomis clip. And notice, let me say this to y'all. Notice how that interview was done. It wasn't done with Bobby Hebert doing it. You know why? Because he didn't like the questions that Bobby Hebert was offering him. So he went and got his own Operation Mockingbird ass reporter to do it for him, and Mike Hoss. So he got the ultimate Saints softballer, Mike Hoss, to prattle off questions about what he doing, because he's supposed to do the interview every week, at least one interview a week from the general manager. That's in there. So he don't do it with Hebert. He do it with Hoss. I hope y'all noticed that, because Bobby Hebert is getting inundated with questions about Mickey Loomis was going on. So with Bobby Hebert's question, I pinpointed this out to y'all when we did that show 2 weeks ago, when we reacted to it, is the fact that every time Hebert had to ask him a tough questions, he always had to say the who that nation wants to know, or the who that nation said, so that he doesn't get mad at Bobby Hebert because he's petty. So he get the softball and throwing ass Mike Hoss to answer the question. Did you notice that? And that's not the big nugget. The good nugget out of that conversation was the fact that the question, at least Hoss gave you this one about Gail Benson. And he says he talked to Gail Benson almost every day, and she's concerned about the supporters. She's concerned about the team. And I said, I don't give a damn about what the team saw. They the responsible party. I'm gonna feel sad for them, and they the ones not going all out. Huh? What? No, ain't only one person that's supposed to be concerned about right now, and that's you. Why? Because you're the most important person in the whole system. You fund it all. Without you, the player wouldn't be here. Without you, none of this would be happening. They're not paying the people with their money. They're paying it with your money. They're using your money. That's how the game go, man. But like I said, that's a big thing. She's showing concern. And is she concerned about your well-being, or is she concerned about your money, baby? She concerned about that money, because the money is already dropping. I told y'all this, man. We don't have to get all these people there, but in the end, all I can tell you is we just need just enough to make a dent in their pocketbook. And more people, after the Saints continue to plummet, more people will understand what this is and understand that we've been dealing with this nonsense for far too long. This guy doesn't want to do. He's delusional. He's out of touch. He needs to be replaced. There need to be a shakeup at top of the organization. We've been saying that for years, and now everybody else is starting to say it. They're all saying that Mickey Loomis, everybody, the majority of the Who Dat Nation that got their head screwed on straight, know that the problem is not just Dennis Allen, because there would be no Dennis Allen if it wasn't for Mickey Loomis. And that even if you fire Dennis Allen, you don't trust who Mickey Loomis going to put in his place. I did polls here several times over asking people, Do you believe in Mickey Loomis? And 70, 80, 90%, 89 to 90+% of the people polled would say no. Do you believe polls asking them, do you believe in his decision-making ability? No. In the poll. So it ain't just me sitting up here hyperventilating and just sit up here saying, oh man, Q just shitting on the Saints. 8 ways for Tuesday. Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not. All right. Thank you, Saints 9612 for the cash app, brother. He says, for where do you think Marshawn ends up? Thank you, bro. Saints 9612. Thank you for the cash app, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Fuck too kind.
Thank you, brother. He says, what do you think Marshawn ends up? I don't know, bro. I really don't know. I can't tell you. Because if things change, right? We know with the injury to Paulson and Debo, if Paulson was healthy and Laddie was healthy, you could possibly see a trade here, because ultimately the Saints would have to get off Lattimore's money, because if you look at, and we covered this in previous streams about Laddie Daddy's contract and the fact that Mickey Loomis structured it last year to make it agreeable to trade him. And because he was upset about the direction, or the lack of direction, more accurately, of the team. So they tried to trade the man and spent much of the offseason. And Dennis Allen said, oh, let's just bring him back, because they really couldn't replace him. And they, so it puts them in a bind, because now Paulson Adebo is on a 1-year deal. He's done for the year. Do the Saints re-up with him? Do you get a little deal because he was banged up? The Saints have to make a decision. We still have Alante. We just got Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Saints might have to draft somebody in the drafts at some point, perhaps. But Lattimore, this year, I think the Saints going to be stuck with Laddie Daddy. And if anything, if they're trying to come up off a move with Laddie Daddy, that'll probably happen sometimes next year. But right now, they can't afford to trade Lattimore. If they're trying to win something, they got to hold on to him. That's if they're trying to win something. That's if they, because right now the thing is, if this is a sell job, and I want y'all to pay attention to this too on the NFL trade wire too, as a trade, well, the trade in the NFL trade deadline approaches. As the deadline approaches, watch to see what the Saints do. Watch to see what the Saints do. That's November the 5th. As a matter of fact, that's election day. 3 days from now. 3 days from now is the NFL trade deadline. Right? So we'll see what the Saints got, what they got doing, fam. We'll see what it's about. Because if the Saints trade somebody, that'll let, if they trade an important piece of the team, like say for instance they trade Chase Young, like, well, Q, they might not save, such and such. Me personally, I think if Chase Young stays healthy, the Saints are going to re-sign Chase Young, because and they'll kick money into the future for Chase Young, because because they don't have any options. They done failed in the draft. The draft 2 first-round defensive tackles both failed. Davenport, Peyton Turner. They declined. Oh, this is a long answer, but just to give me, I'm getting through it. But look at what happens with the trade. They can't draft anybody to play the end position. Think about what happened. Carl Granderson is an undrafted player that went up the ranks to become the Saints' best defensive end. They failed twice. And as many years, in several years, when Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner, they failed. And Isaiah Foskey is a 2nd-round draft pick, and he's not really doing anything because he's buried on the depth chart behind all these other cats. So the Saints are penciled in. I would expect them to keep Chase Young. If he's healthy, they're going to keep Chase Young. They're going to give him, probably re-up on him, give him a decent deal to stay with the team, because they can't draft a guy to replace him. Think about what I just said. So as the deadline approaches, If the Saints trade a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, which I severely doubt because they can't afford to trade him because they don't have anybody to replace him. If you are a person that's looking to put your feet in the sand to go to the playoffs, remember, don't forget this, that the Saints are a team that's supposed to be playoffs or bust. In the third year of Dennis Allen, is playoffs or bust. This is Dennis Allen's team to the core. He has his entire defensive staff. He has his quarterback. Dennis Allen did 95% of reshaking up the offensive play callers, the offensive side of the ball. This is Dennis Allen's team, unlike any other year before. This ain't Sean Payton's club no more. This is Dennis Allen's club. And they're on a 6-game losing streak. So obviously his decision-making has taken the Saints in the opposite direction. Now, we'll see where they're at in terms of sale. And if they are trading a guy like a Chase or a Lattimore or something like that, then they're bailing out and trying to get, to try to go down to see if they can land out and just take their comeuppance and go into the draft. It's a tough battle to go from where they are to go back to relevancy. I don't think Dennis Allen do it because he doesn't have the attributes to do it, to say it kindly. But that's where we are. The Saints have not been able to address the defensive end position. Via the draft, they failed multiple times, and it stinks. So that's what my thought process is on it, brother. I don't know where he will end up after it's all said and done, but I don't think he goes anywhere this year, and he's still under contract. So, all right, St. Doug says, Q, some guys have lost tune-up fights. That's us. That's sad, man. When you losing tune-up fights, that means it ain't in you no more. And we talking, strictly boxing lingo right now for the family members. Ring Kings Boxing. That's my other platform. But yeah, when you are a fighter that's losing tune-up fights, it's not in you. Like I've watched Deontay Wilder, the former heavyweight champion, just lose fight. I think he lost like 2 or 3 fights in a row. It's over with, man. What you doing? It's over with. But some of them guys, they get caught into that thinking, and that's how they get hurt. Like they can't let it go. And you being a good athlete and a smart athlete, you got to know when it's time to let it go. Ryan Ramczyk, it's time to let it go. You on the wrong side of age and you got lower knee, you got lower leg extremities. It's over. You done for. Take your million, take your money and run, like the song say. Shout out to Jack, says Colin Sanders looks like he's about to give birth to a tackle. All right. Professor says, Q, I agree, St. Doug, and that guy needs to go, man. He needs to go back to the bench. He needs to go to being a reserve guy. He needs to go. Nate Backwood says Nate thought he still had the ball. No, I don't believe that. If you watch the tape, you can see him looking up because he didn't have his eyes closed. If you watch the tape of him grabbing Herbert's leg, you can see him looking up. That's why when I was doing the live, I was like, what is he doing, man? Because just put it to you like this: if that guy wasn't on your team, right, and you seen him do that to your quarterback, what would you think? He was trying to hurt him. That's what I was like, man. What a dirty play. That's a dirty play by Shepard, man. And he deserved what that big lineman did. That big lineman almost twisted his damn helmet off, poked his eyes out. I think he was grabbing all his eyes and shit. That big guy was trying to take his head off. Chantel says, what's up, Chantel? Says, Q, do you think, in your opinion, that Carr can beat Jameis on the 17? Carr needs to watch out for Myles Garrett. I don't know, Chantel. The way Jameis looked in that offense, now, of course, we still, 3 weeks off before we see Jameis in the dome? But anything, Jameis is going to wing it, man. And if the Saints secondary is still banged up, that could be problematic. They do have the weapons, and they're not the same team with Jameis there like when Deshaun Watson was there. He's hesitant. Jameis ain't hesitant. Jameis Winston to let the ball go. He'll let it go. He'll give you an opportunity to make a play. And that's why guys like playing with Jameis. He ain't afraid. He a little gunslinger, and he would throw that ball out there. Plus, the fact that Jameis been down here for several years, he knows the Saints defense, which could be problematic in its own right. So I think it'll be a tall order for the Saints to beat the Browns if they can't get play action and running game going. And Jameis knows the defense. He's been practiced against this defense for the last several years. Could be problems. Could be a problem. You never know. Thank you, Chantel. Shout out to you. All right. Ty says they need to strip that GM job from Mickey right along with firing Dennis Allen. I am for that. L Dub says I agree with you, and I'm 100% Q regarding the firing of Dennis Allen. Yes, restructuring of the team. You dig? What's up, Levon? Shout out to your fam. Says I think the Saints gonna lose. All right. Short and sweet. All right. What's up, Willie Garrison? Says I've been saying this, Q. We need to stop supporting the Saints until they change. Indeed, that's the only thing that these people respect. That's the only thing. You can't listen. It's all about listen. This is not just about the Saints. Let's not get it twisted. This is about any company or any organization that's set. Say you got a neighborhood and it's a bunch of good people in the neighborhood, and you've got businesses that move into the neighborhood and they want to get money from you. Let's say you go to one of these businesses and you have an event that you're setting up for the benefit of the neighborhood, like a community event, right? And you want the businesses that the community fund in the area to kind of donate some money to that event, because they wouldn't be making the money if it wasn't for the community, right? It's like a give and get thing, you know? And if this businesses in that community says, no, we're not going to do that, or don't donate product to the community event, like if they got food, or we're going to cater it, or we'll give you, the hamburgers or whatever, the bread or whatever, or soda, we'll give you this, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? They can write the stuff off. If they decide not to do that and not fund your event or not even participate in it, there should be a boycott on that business. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Should be a boycott on that business. Economic boycotts happen every day. They happen every day, and they work. They work, and that should be an economic. It's not just the Saints, but this can be practice for the community, the Saints community, to do, just for a show of continuity and power, because there's not just one Saint supporter. There are many. They all love the Saints in different ways. But as a community, they have to understand that when the community gets together and stand on code, they all have to stand on code with the community. That's how we make things move. And it's a show of power. It's an exercise of power. Just to whip a $1 billion team, and watch how fast they watch how fast you make this $6-7 billion franchise or whatever it costs. Watch how fast you get them together. Watch how fast you get them together. Then you would be the example to everybody else out there, from the Jets on down, the Carolina Panthers on down. Did y'all see what them Saints people did? Well, no, I ain't see. What did they do? Man, they boycotted the Saints to the point where they fired they fumbling, stumbling, possum face coach, and they ripped away the general manager duties from Mickey Loomis, and they gave us and such. Wow, damn, they did that. How did they do that? The support base stood on code, man, and told them we wasn't playing with you and we need this to be fixed now, and they did it. You'll be an example to not just the rest of the NFL, but to NBA, MLB, whatever. You'll be the shining, crowning jewel of on code boycott. They'll use you everywhere, and it has to be an example. If you can do it, everybody can do it. That'll spread across the world. That's big news, how the support base was able to shut down a $6 to $7 billion operation simply by not doing anything, not even lifting a finger. You don't have to throw no metal. You don't have to punch at nobody. All you have to do is not do a damn thing, and you'll stop the whole freaking thing in its tracks. That's power. That's what I've been advocating for years. For years. It ain't nothing new. Been saying this shit for years, man. Sometimes it take a little longer, for the message to get out there. That's just what it is. Brother Duke says, Q, hold on to your money and they'll get. Yes, indeed. It's economic boycotts, man. That's right, Jay Black. That dude, Edward Bernice. Look that dude up, man. There's stuff like I've been telling people about this, and that's why I put it on that other platform, because this is stuff that these people use on you, whether it's the political parties or whether it's the sport franchises or whomever else. They use the same game. People don't know, because their parents don't know, the parents didn't know, because everybody's in the whirlwind of trying to pay their bills, of trying to put food on the table, of trying to make ends meet. Then they have to deal with all of the aggression of a aggressive society aimed at taking the devaluing the money, the very money that they making, while they're making the money less than what it was yesterday. So they got to work doubly hard just to make ends meet even tougher while dealing with pressures from marriages, because some people be blaming their spouses for this, that, and the third, and the spouses are participants in the system they do not control. At any given time, there is no such thing in security, as far as security in that type of matrix. There is no security, because at any given time they can throw a lever and then thousands of people unemployed. They got people with degrees, master's degrees. I've seen reports of people, and you've seen them too, of people with master degrees that are homeless. I mean, not useless art degree or something like that. I'm talking about people, engineers, they're homeless, man. How do you explain that? I thought that if you get a degree that gives you, no. This is the stuff that is happening in society. I like to bring light to it, because the more we know, the more power we have to use in our lives. And then that helps moving forward. But indeed, man, you got to research these people. I tell people, I'm not being mean, but I tell you, listen, don't vote for nobody's party unless you do the research on where the parties come from and get your head blown. I'm not going to tell you, I already did the research on all of them, but I want you to do it. You do it and find out who they are. Find out who they are. I challenge you. I've challenged you to find out who they really are and get your head blown. Understand how really twisted this whole thing is. Research them. Hold your vote. Go research the party before, then go and vote if you want to, after you find out what you're going to find out. I'm just keeping it. I'm just 100% all the way funky with you, man. But anyway, the boycott situation really worked, because at the end, this could be an exercise of power for the community. And I'm for the community. I'm a part of the community. That's what I want. I want people to be empowered. That's my thought. That's my mindset, is the empowerment of you to be empowered, not them, because they are empowered by you. Now it's time for you to get it. It's time for you to be empowered with success and everything else. It's time for you to get it, because they done had enough. They done abused it. Don't let them do it to you. All right, big ups to the fam. Thank y'all, man. Big Valley says, how we get in touch with Miss Benson to tell her to get this? Well, there is no way you can directly contact Gail, but there is a 1-800. I mean, not 100. It's a number. You Google your phone. I think if you, I don't know if Kevin in here or OG, Pammy, Desi, Chantel, y'all feel free to put that number in the chat. There's a 504 number for the Saints front office. I used to put it up all the time, that you can call and complain. I think the answering machine pick up. Call it in place of your complaint. Tell them you're not buying. You ain't buying no tickets. You ain't buying. Tell them they got a number. You can call on there to the front office, the phone to pick up. You can leave a message, or you can tell them leave a message for such and such and all this kind of stuff. You can email them. There's an email situation. You can call them or email them. They got emails where you can public relations or something like that. Emails. Or you can email them and tell them, inundate the phone, emails, all that. Let them know. Let them know. But they already know. But if you feel like you need to do it, hey, man, they got emails, all that. Go on their website. Go down to contact. They got an email you can send to them. They got a phone number you can call on. I used to call it all the time and leave messages. I even contacted their PR department and asked for interviews with certain people. And they turn you down because they're running. Well, you're going to be running for us because we ain't going to be chasing your ass down. You're going to just bring this money back. See how you like that. St. Doug says, if we lose this one, you got to hit us with that Michael Jackson. You can't win. I will, brother. If we lose, I will. Shout out to Barbara, man. That was her thing. Barbara did that. Barbara said, yeah, can you put that? You can't win by Michael Jackson on there. I was like, okay. All right, Saints for Life says the interview the other day on W was a joke. He was clearly laying the groundwork to explain away the faults of the team, at the same time trying to justify everything wrong with the team. Mickey Loomis don't have any answers, fam. We got to understand that Loomis doesn't have any answers. I'm not being negative, fam. I'm just reporting the stories as is. I'm just telling you what it is. I can't spin it in a positive light because what's happening is what's supposed to happen. This is called the purge process. This guy is stonewalling the organization. What I mean by that is he refuses to admit to bad decision making in the draft, in his coaching decisions, salary cap decisions. He blames the salary cap on C-19. Last time I checked, that was 4 years ago that happened. Ever since, them people done made twice as much money. They made more money last year than they ever made because of the contracts they signed with this gambling shit. All the gambling stuff, they done topped out. They done made tens of billions of dollars, man, on the gambling, on the NBA doing the same thing. It's all that. That's how we got our illustrious and nice sponsors of the show, because of the contracts and other stuff the NFL signed, along with Bet Online, all these other people. The reality is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And he's stonewalling. He's not listening. He's being stubborn. And this is what it is. This is Mickey Loomis. But I'm so glad that people finally realized, because they were aiming at Dennis Allen as the problem. And then people start looking closer and says, not Dennis Allen, it's Mickey Loomis. I was like, there, you got it. Now you got your beam right where it need to be on. That's the problem. That's who your problem is. And for the first time in a long time, the entire Who Dat Nation realized that the problem with the Saints is not just Dennis Allen at the head coach level, is the guy that hired him and the guy that continues to protect him and make excuses. It's Mickey Loomis. So they know they're going at him now. So I'm like, yes. Now we got right where we need to be. So yes, now we got the attention. Let's start dropping that money down. Because he can't pay for them tickets. He can't pay for them concessions. He can't pay for that parking. He can't pay for that merch. He can't pay for none of that over there. He an employee. I don't know what kind of power you think you have, but you don't have nothing compared to what we got. And when we say enough's enough, it stops. That's the beauty of it. I'm just glad I'm witnessing the togetherness of the community to be able to bring one singular message to the Saints organization, and that's to bring it all down if you don't listen. And it's showing them where the power resides is with us and not you. I love that, man. This is the show. This is something to be happy for in many regards, because it's not built correctly. This needs to all come down. It's all built on. It's a house of lies. It needs to fall. It needs to come down. This is all fraudulent. It's all BS. Dennis Allen sitting up here like he a head coach, and all this kind of stuff. And these people are supposed to be having. Hold on, I'm gonna play that in a little bit. But Lomas interview, yeah, thank you. He says same, trying to just, it's time, bro. Damon says, Q, you made me bust out laugh while I'm at work calling that. Yeah, that dude a possum, bro. We know that. What's up? What's up, Randolph? Shout out to you, my brother. Big ups to you. I know OG says it's a shame. I know, brother. It is what it is, bro. But we're in that time frame. You have to look at this through an independent lens. That's right. Kevin know all the little Mickey-isms. Let's just call them that, the Loomis-isms. You gotta look at it through a lens. And I say, hold on. I thought you were supposed to look beyond the results. What lens are we trying to look at? None of this makes sense. It's all rhetoric, all excuse making rhetoric to waste time. This is wasting time bullcrap that Mickey Loomis is involved in. Every time you present statistics, hardcore data in front of him, he spins weird sayings and stuff to protect. So it's not about success. And even seeing any coach on a 6-game losing streak in his third year falling through the floor, and you don't even go in there and demand anything. Just saying, Dennis Allen's boss is Mickey Loomis. When did you get involved? Instead of making excuses to us, maybe you need to do something else. So, I mean, it's sad. Yeah, I got it, OG. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Against the Carolina game, bro. I think that'll be better and fitting. OG to the third degree says, why don't we set an official date to boycott? I would rather say the Panthers game, especially if we lose. I'm already on it, bro. I've been a year and some change already boycotting, brother. Brother, I've been on my game. I've been ask the fam, man. It's been about a year and some change, bro. I've been boycotting. I hadn't bought anything. I don't wear they shit. I had a bunch of Saints merch, man. A bunch of Saints stuff. Y'all don't see me wear no Saints merch. You see me wear the platforms merch. I wear platform merch, stuff from the PR, the pro stores, and all that kind of stuff. That's what I wear. You know, I have, I got Pelican merch, I got Saints merch, but all that shit in the box up in there, man. I wear pro shop merch, stuff that the platform that we have here. That's what I wear. That's what I wear. I've been on mine, brother. I've been doing my part. I'm listening. I'm telling you, I'm walking it and I'm talking it, brother. I'm walking it and I'm talking it. I don't wear them people shit, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it because I realized even when they were on that 2-game winning streak, I was like, okay, 2 games is one thing, but I'm not going to jump on. I'm not coming back in support of the Saints until I have a longer series of wins. Because you got to remember, you got to look at it in, let's say, like Kevin said, Mickey said, you got to look at it through an independent lens. Well, let's look at that independent lens. The independent lens is you've been losing for years. So 2 games is not going to get me back to you. You're going to have to win more than that. You're going to have to prove it by doing something you haven't done that you promised to do, but you didn't do, which is to get the team to the playoffs. If you can't do that, then there is no need for me to give you my support. I'm not giving you my support through half the season. You have to get this team to the playoffs. Then we support. Because why that, Q? Because then they would be fulfilling the promise that they made when they started this experiment to get into the playoffs. Anything less than that is a disrespect to me and you and everybody else that got 2 brain cells to rub together. Because I am not an advocate of disrespect to people. I'm not an advocate of one-way relationships. I'm not an advocate of it. If you're a person that ever went through a one-way relationship, then you understand where this comes from. They don't work, It's a lot of energy. Like, well, you do it and then been unselfish. Listen, fam. It's all about energy. It's all about give. It's a balance to everything. It's about give and get. So if you're a good giver, you have to be a good receiver. If you're a person that always just like to give and never get anything in return, you're out of balance. You're in violation of God's law because you can't get good unless you give good. You complete the circle when you become just as good as a giver as you are as a receiver, because if you're giving, then the Most High said, for which you give, here's your gift back. Then you receive and take it humbly. You complete the energy. You complete the circle. You complete God law. That's game. But in the end, that's what we deal with. So I'm not an advocate of one-way relationships where you just dump money on a team and they don't even listen. They disrespect and they got a guy. Not only that, he's stand up there and talk like a Dollar Tree elitist to you. Oh, you're not qualified now. Oh, hold on now. You guys are not qualified. You're unsophisticated. That's just lazy and unsophisticated. Oh, you gotta look beyond the results. And I heard the same noisy noise before. And they said the same thing. Bill Belichick, 9-8, 75, 8-5. Chuck Noll, 7-8, 8-8, 12-5. All Hall of Fame coaches now. I heard the same now. Sean Payton, 7-8, 75. I heard the same stuff then. All noise, all that stuff then. And they asked him about getting advice and all that. Why would I listen to those guys? They're not qualified. All of that Dollar Tree elitist ass bullshit that he was saying, that's all disrespected and aimed at you. Even to the point where he didn't cut off Bobby Abel and let Mike Hoss do the interviews. See, they don't see it, but I see it. I see it all, man. I see it all, man, because I'm a guy that I'm a guy that is a pattern recognition guy. And I would advocate for all you guys to be pattern recognition people. If you got somebody in your life, you watch patterns. And when they break patterns, that's when you realize something's off. That's when you start looking at things, investigating things. People are pattern. It's called routine. They used to call it rituals, but it's routine. Everybody have a set of daily routines that they're comfortable with, that they do every day. They go to work at the same time. They go to lunch around the same time. They drive to the same place around the same time. They eat around the same type of foods at different days that they eat. That might be a little game, but they got to know what they like to eat. Then they, pick up the kids for a certain period of time, go to sleep for a certain period of time. All that is a routine that is set on the clock, which is a pattern. The behaviors is a pattern. The type of people that you like to date is a pattern. Might look like different ladies, but at the same time, it's a pattern. And you look for patterns in people that are similar to the pattern that you have, so that you have what you believe as some synergy or chemistry with that person, that you can relate to them because their patterns look similar to the patterns that you have. This is just what it is. So when you recognize these people from looking at them so long, you understand that I caught that. I seen what you did there. You didn't give the interview to Abel, you gave it to Mike Hoss. I seen what you did there because you didn't like the questions Bobby Abel was hitting you with that the people was giving to him. He don't want to hear from you, but that's all right. And I was asking myself, why is Mike Hoss asking him about Mason Tipton? He got to throw some softball in there. He don't want the tough interviews. He don't want to hear it. What I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. I've already made my decision up. I've been boycotting the Saints now for over a year. I'm not giving my support behind them until they fulfill the promise of getting a team to the playoffs. Nothing less than that will move me. And that's how we're supposed to operate. That's game. That's true. That's true talk. Good. T-Bob need to tear him up. Tear him up. Because he was disrespect. He gets on there and get his disrespectful undertones to Bobby Abel before, and Bobby Abel just tiptoe around him to the best of his ability, because they know that and that's the thing about these stations, fam. A lot of times people be running to get up under there, but you running to be restricted. I often keep preaching to people to be, I don't want to say independent would be the word, but to have your own thing, to build your own stuff up. That way you can say what you want as much as you can say, as opposed to going up under them people. Then you have to be restricted by how you question them. Now you're going to give them respect, and you interview, like when I interview and talk to people, even though they might be talking crazy about my team, like old boy was from the Cowboys, but then I not show that man respect. I show everybody respect that come on the Sports Coma. Pelican post game report, tough type, whatever I'm doing. It's always professional with me. And I'll always be professional, but that won't stop me from asking the questions that I know the people want to know, that I want to know. Being I'm from the community, I know what kind of questions I need to ask you. And they'll run from that, which means I'm not going to chase you. I'm just going to stop supporting you. And then that way you'll come to me. I'm not going to chase you nowhere. I don't believe in chasing. But what I will do is I will pull support. And that way I know eventually you'll come back because you don't have anywhere else to go. This is game. This is truth. Because a person acting like that know they got their power, fam. Like I told y'all the other night, that's how a boss person, that's a boss man, not a lost man. Y'all tell me, ain't it this difference between a boss, what they call a boss man, and a lost man? The boss man got his shit straight. The lost man don't. That's we ain't no lost man around here. No lost women, no nothing, man. Shit, we gonna do it. You heard me? All right, big ups. Yeah, I remember that, Chantel, that negative noise. Oh, that negative noise. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see all of that. So it's the dude that's all right. Let him do what he do. Oh, wow. Damn, L-Dub. This is wow. He says, you're right, Q. That's how I caught my ex-wife cheating. She never understood how I find out. Listen, fam, be careful, bro. I'm glad you caught that, bro, because that's extremely dangerous, because these nasty, trifling, stanky, ungodly people will get tempted by demonry and disagreeableness, and will go out there and jeopardize your life and get involved in some type of weird sex triangle, and you'll be a victim of it. And then people sleeping with you, and they infected and put you in some danger with your life. Bro, listen, they done had cases where men killed their wives because of that. I remember seeing this like a couple of weeks, well, not weeks ago, but this was last year, and it pops up ever so often. Like I'm talking about, they don't have a history. They don't have a history of violence. They worked their whole life, paid their taxes, was model citizens, and then clicked the hell out when that happened because they chose wrong. You dig? They chose wrong and found some person. And this happened to the men do this to some of these trifling men do it to the women. So it ain't just a man or a man totally thing or a woman thing. It's people. Some of these people are just unrighteous and demon filled. And they put they spouse in a compromising position where they sleeping with people out here, and these people, AIDS is all over the place right now. There are several major epidemics that I keep saying this. I talk about it on Patreon. I put up the reports. They got people that know they're infected and they're sleeping with people on purpose to infect them because they got it. So that's why I be telling people, protect yourself, make the right decision, and stay on code with your people, man, because listen, you think you're doing the right thing, and this person you with out here running amok, bro, sisters, listen, be careful. Be careful. Yeah, that's horrible. And I'm glad you found out the truth, brother. I know it hurt you, but hopefully you did it and it made you strong, man. Yeah, that's horrible, man. That's horrible, man. That's terrible. That's how awful, man. But yeah, that's a hurt-filled thing, man, when that happens, man. But I keep telling people, man, they don't tell you about, see, they did all that bullshit a few years ago when they was doing all this and stopping this and everything got shut down. But all this other shit going on, they ain't got nothing to say for that. And it's a bunch of it going on right now, just rampant. Reports all over the place in some of the largest cities all across the country under several different disease-filled epidemics is going on. And they just sit up here, nothing to see here, election, what? Boy, I tell you, they never tell you about the real ones. That's all I got to say. That's just the history. Well, that don't go par for the course. You know who these people are, then you would know you're not supposed to be listening to them anyway. That's just like preschool to me, fam. You're not supposed to be listening to them, man. Do your homework on that. M. Dot says, Q, I'll pay to see, make it sit down with you. Yeah, and TJ. I mean, he won't do it, brother. He wouldn't even, he said he ran for Bobby Best, so he ain't because I won't relent. I'm gonna get the tough questions in there one way or the other. We're gonna get them in there. Joseph says, we were not going to tolerate disruption. We're not tolerating it. It's over with. Done deal. Yeah, he says, in my faith and strength in God wasn't strong, I probably would have snapped because she did do me wrong. She did do you wrong, bro, but that was her curse. She been cursed by that. That's what another thing is too, fam. People don't understand, or rather, some people don't get the generational curse thing. Generational curses are caused in many points about what the person, did. Like, let's say if you got some of these people out here and they did all this stuff in their lives and killing and all this kind of old stuff and disagreeable shit, and they got up out of here, right? They got their own justice. But then if it's so bad and it affected so many people, that energy got to go somewhere, and it usually go right to their children. And then their children are poisoned by what they look at the Kennedys, man. I remember doing the research on them people, man. I'm like, man, all this stuff going on with these people because they got cut off and cut up. Y'all know the history of them that people family. But man, it's still going on today. People going crazy, all this kind of stuff and all this. Man, listen, it's not just them, it's some of these rich families that's out there. They go through the same stuff. Some of the horrible shit they did to get the money and ruined and infected and cursed the family. All because they had to have whatever the case the guy felt he had to have, and it cursed and poisoned the family. So a lot of the children batshit crazy and all kind of weird stuff, man. So, in the end, man, the thing is we're not perfect, but when we violate, man, you got to stand on code, stay corrected and get back on the right side, because the best servants of the Most High is not the best saints, because the best saints came from the worst sinners. A lot of the worst. You ever knew about the story of David, King David, out of the Bible, or Abraham? Y'all actually read the story of some of these men and how they became the best servants of the Most High? Man, these people was doing all kind of stuff. But ultimately, when they got it right, man, it's changed back around, and they understood both sides of it, coming from it and then changing the life around to get on the right side of it and never going back to that other darkness again. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like some of the worst sinners became the best saints in the eyes of the Most High, because they were able to get back on the right side. And that's just part of the course of the Creator, having that love for you as a child. You know your children gonna make mistakes. That don't mean you're not gonna love them. You're still gonna chastise them, but you're gonna, help them or direct them and guide them. But it's a line that you won't go over, that if they violate and keep violating and keep violating and keep violating, then you're gonna take your hands off of them. I'm just telling you, and that's what the Most High do. And that's you gotta show, I don't want to get too all up in there, but my people that know what I'm talking about. I just want people to understand that, man, that you're not at fault. If you do what you're supposed to do and they don't, that's on them. And they wasn't supposed to be with you from the get-go if that was the case. But, don't take it too hard. And this is the thing. This is the key to it all, is not allowing yourself to be bitter from a nasty, dirty, stinking relationship. Not allowing yourself to be bitter. To not be bitter takes a lot of spiritual energy, prayer, discipline, for you not to be bitter. Because if you become bitter, what happens is you give that power to them, and they don't care if you bitter or not. You don't want to sit up here upset and mad. They already done run around here tearing up somebody else's life. They don't give a crap. So you holding this bitterness inside of you, tearing you up, souring you out, stealing joy from your life. Take that bitterness and you destroy it or convert it into something natural that can help you. Don't let bitterness consume you about these people that did you wrong. Don't let the bitterness, because the Most High gonna tear their ass up anyway. This universal principle that you give what you get. So they already cursed and tore up. Their time's coming. But in the end, as far as you're concerned, don't let the bitterness consume you. You make sure that you be joyful and don't be bitter and don't be hateful. Don't let it happen to you. I know it's tough. I know it's tough. I know it is. But family, I'm telling you what God loves. Don't let the bitterness consume you, because it'll steal all your joy. It'll age you. It'll make you sick. Don't let it do it. Don't let that happen to you for somebody that ain't worth shit. Did you get that? Did you get that? So some people got to hear this, man, and I'm glad L-Dub threw that up there, man. Because people got to hear that, man. Because people dealing with some of that stuff out here, and a lot of it is, some of that's that stuff. So you don't let nobody bitter you that ain't worth nothing. They're not worth nothing. Don't let them turn you and bitter you and sour you and steal your joy and steal your happiness. Because what they did that was wrong. They did it and you did as much as you can do. They ain't worth it. Don't let that bitterness consume you. Take that shit and crush it and throw it away and get back to loving and being good. Don't let it bitter you. That's real game right there. That's real game, because a lot of people dealing with that bitterment, man. Don't let that stuff steal your joy, ladies. Brothers, sisters, don't let it steal your joy. Be good. Y'all are great. You know what you did was righteous. Don't let these demon-filled people steal your joy, because that's what their intention and goal was, to destroy you and try to bring you down. They try to take what you have and take you down. Some of them was agents sent there to destroy you. Think about what I'm saying now. Some of them demons, they sent them characters into your life to try to derail what you had going on, because you had blessed stuff happening. You might have got ready to you got a good gig or something, or a blessing some kind of way. And then they in there tearing up and doing some side shit to try to distract you from getting where you got going. Don't let that demon feel filth take you down. Don't let them sour you in your life and wear you down, where you getting all tired and getting gray hair, and you can't enjoy life no more. You can't go out and travel and do what you know. The hell with that. Over some filth? Nah, fam. No. Let's live your life and be joyful. Be happy. Be happy that was exposed and that was a test. Now you know what to look for, don't you? Now you have a different vision. So see, you came out of the situation a lot stronger and smarter than what you was going into it. That is a plus and not a loss. That wasn't time wasted. That was something that you had to know. Because if you had it before you went in it, you wouldn't have been dealing with it. So you left with a plus, which is a victory. You didn't lose. You didn't go into it as a loss, and you didn't leave it at loss. You left it with a gain. Now you smarter, stronger. Your vision is better. Everything. So you can't be tricked by that anymore. You see how things work out. That's the mindset you have to have, man. When you do that, you left with, don't say that's the time waster. You left with a key. You left smarter. You left stronger spiritually. Now you know what to look for. Now you know how you have to refine your vision. You have to refine the list. You have to refine what you're looking for, which you basically just live your life and get yourself together. Most High gonna put that person right there for you. That's, sometimes you get set aside. You get set aside. Listen, I ain't no preacher, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, fam. I'm not a preacher. My mother, is the spiritual one, and we talk. My pops is more analytical. He's an astronomer type. That's why I kind of get my game from with her and him. But anyhow, I'm not a preacher, man. I'm just a person that read a lot, studied a lot, and I got a degree of wisdom. It's a little small degree of wisdom that, that I like to mix in when we talk in life, sports, life, whatever. I know it helps. It helps at times, so I get the feeling the Most High put something there and I just go ahead and run with it. But in the end, man, because I know we all linked at the hip and we all experience near the same things. We all experience the same financial stuff, the same relationship stuff. We all going through the same stuff because of society. People have to be able to resist the temptings of what's going on in society. They have to resist it. And what's happening is the destruction of society. That's what's happening. You can't live on this planet or in this plane thinking that you don't have any rules or nothing, no regulations. You can't do that. That's why the emphasis is pushed as rules are being limited. No, the Most High use rules, regulations, and otherwise. So you live here. That's how you live longer. That's how you live it. Any unraveling of that is an attempt by unnatural forces to conquer. That's what they say. We'll take what you have that is organic and natural and turn it upside down and make the opposite organic and natural. They literally doing that. That some bitch said he was going to do it, and him and his family doing it. They putting it all out there. They doing it. And for people who don't know, they false acceptable to it. So all of this stuff has to be resisted. It has to be resisted. It has to be. All right. So anyway, man, listen, man, shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all for being here. Brian says, Q, you give a score of the game tomorrow in Giannis' opinion. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Talk, boy.
Talk, boy. All right. Yes. Shout out to you. Yeah. Brian says, what's the score tomorrow? Well, I forgot the name, the score. 23. I think like 20 to 13. I'm thinking Saints win 20. I don't think it'll be a big victory. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints won 23-14 or 21-13 or something like that. Maybe by 7 points or something like that. I really do expect, honestly, for the Saints to get the running game going to a degree. I expect them to kind of get the ball down the field. I expect them to do something. I don't think it'll be a 40-burger game, but I do think that they will score more points than they did in the last couple of weeks. Like we had 18 points over the last two games. I expect the Saints to get at least 2 touchdowns in this game. I expect them to win 20-13, or maybe 21-14, something like that. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 24-17, something like that. In that realm, they get the victory. They snap the 6-game losing streak. And then, because I don't think Carolina's the game. I've been saying that for the last couple of weeks with the prior game. The game ain't, and to me, Carolina, the game to me is Atlanta. That's the game. And why is that? Because if you lose this game, you get swept by the Falcons. How he gonna survive that? Ask me this. The last time the Falcons swept the Saints was what, 2014? 10 years ago? So it's been a decade since that's happened. We've been running the Falcons. If the Falcons sweep us this year, that will put Dennis Allen, should put him on the street. But the thing is, it'll ratchet up. Like, you're going to see the angst from a lot of the supports that's just chilling. A lot of people like you, I'm with you on that. But you're going to see some people like right there that's on the line. You're going to see that go way through the roof if they lose to Atlanta. You're going to see that go, that's going to go all the way up, and you're going to see them tickets come down just like that. Because you got to win that. You cannot afford to lose, to get swept by the Falcons, especially in your third year. Your team is on a 6-game losing streak. You'll beat them. You'll be 3-6. I mean, when you beat Carolina, then you got Atlanta. You lose to Atlanta. You're 3-7. You can't lose. Then you get swept by the Falcons. You can't get swept by the Falcons and expect to keep your job. Watch how, I'm telling y'all, watch how that heat goes from what it is now, because it's bad now, but it's different degrees of bad. Wait, and if they lose that Falcons game and they get swept by the Falcons, you watch how this shit gonna turn over. Watch how the heat gonna go through the roof to get swept by the Falcons. Watch how this work. That's the game. That's the game. Yeah, that's the game. All right. J Black says, don't let them separate us. We're more like, yeah, that's right, J Black. That rat race Q is referring to. Yes, indeed, man. That's how they do it. No problem. Thank you, Joe. Yes, indeed. Yeah, this real talk, man. And we talk Saints, we talk life, man. I always did this. But I just think, ultimately, when we I see it a little differently, because I've read a lot of stuff, like poor people from different countries. They're here for a purpose. And this is so disrespectful, but forces that use taxpayer dollars that's supposed to be tied to these so-called intelligence people over the last 40 and 50 years have systematically broke down and destroyed all these countries by infiltration, buying off and getting rid of their leaders, either by buying them off or just offing them. The Economic Hitman is a really good book you need to kind of pick up, read about. That explains the techniques. Plus, I put stuff up on Patreon all the time that showed you various declassified operations from the 40s and 50s into the 60s that give you a blueprint and the mindset of what has been done after World War II. Even during the world wars, how they cut up the plant, how they cut up certain countries. Like you had the 33rd parallel, or they split the country in half. One side, they got the other side. They basically took over the planet. And then after that, they started competing with each other, and people don't understand. That's why I always tell people do their research on it, because they jumping right in the middle of it. These people have been fighting each other for years. Going at each other for years. We just didn't realize it. They've been going at each other for years. You gotta read, study to show thyself approval. Don't get involved with this stuff unless you know what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing, I would still caution you to get involved with any of this, because I don't think it pertains. A lot of it pertains to being in your favor. Yeah, I would basically look at it as two wolves fighting over who gonna eat, and you are on the plate. That's how I look at it. But it takes that type of thinking. Like, they basically took the people from the southern nations of the world, Mexico and all these other places, and turned them into a workforce, a cheap workforce. It is disrespectful. They ain't gonna talk about all the other stuff that dealt with the people that's from that's the indigenous people. I'm not gonna even get into all that. But when people start hearing that and know the history, then they wouldn't be able to pose into these groups and start pointing fingers at each other, because that's also a technique. When you know and you read, boy, I tell you, it opens up everything. You're BS proof almost. You're BS proof. All right. So anyway, man, shout out to you. Well, hold on. Got a question there from Colorado. Says happy late. Thank you. Same to you, Colorado. Hope you were good. Who that? Hope for a win tomorrow. Thank you, Colorado. Shout out. Appreciate you, fam. For always great well wishes there. Shout out to Bev. I see you, Beverly. Shout out to you, Queen. Appreciate you. Shout out to all the queens. What's up, Debbie? Shout out to you, baby. Much love, man. All right. Thank you, Professor. Appreciate you, sir. Yeah, we got, yeah. There you go, Professor. Yeah. All right. So anyway, Pelicans Nola says DA is going to be like Arthur Smith looking for a job. All I can say is, man, like I said, if the Saints lose to it's not even I don't think they lose to the Carolina Panthers. They don't blow them out, but they do stop the slide. There is a small chance, not a small chance, but it's actually a pretty big chance, because not big, I could say, if I was to percentize it, I mean, out of 100%, do the Saints win tomorrow, I would probably say like 70%, and it's a 30% chance, or maybe 75%. If I were to go a little up, I would say it's a 75% chance for a win tomorrow. If I use meteorologist lingo, right? 75% chance of rain. Well, I'm going to say 75%. I can go as much as 80, but I'm going to be conservative and say 75% chance the Saints win. And there's a 25% chance that Carolina wins, because Carolina is they have a quarterback that can scramble. The Saints have problems with that. They have running backs that can run, that are hard runners inside. Chupa Hubbard averaging 5 yards a carry. That's a problem for the Saints defense. And the Saints secondary, 4 starters are out on the Saints secondary. Paulson Adebo's done for the year. Laddie Daddy and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Well, Kool-Aid's not a starter, but a great deal of the Saints depth is banged up, including Rico Payton, who's the third cornerback. He is also banged up with a back issue. So you're bringing in Herndon, you're bringing in Shamar Jean-Charles, you're bringing in Milton Bradford, or I hope I'm saying the man name correctly. You're bringing in all these people. Hugo Amadi, who's going to play a little corner. So you're bringing in all these backups to fill out your secondary, which make you suspect there, which means if they got guys there, they can target the Saints' weak secondary if the Saints front seven don't get pressure on Bryce. So there is a 25%. I would even go as high as say 30% chance that the Carolina Panthers can make it very interesting against the Saints. And then, of course, they're not playing with any pressure at all. Pressure was the big tamp down, a depressant for a guy like Bryce Young, who was picked first overall. This is the least amount of pressure that he's going to play under so far in his young career. He's not expected to do anything. That's a different energy. He can play free. He can play loose, and that could be very dangerous. Plus, they have a good tight end in Jatavion Sanders, who's a mobile tight end who can block and catch. The Saints have problems with those guys. So the inability to stop the run, not be able to defend the tight end position consistently, not the inability to stay disciplined in gap assignments to allow QBs to leak out. Bryce Young can scramble. And the fact that the Saints secondary is toe up, that does give them some hope that they can get another win. It really does. And if Carolina beat the Saints, then the Saints will be the worst team in the NFL. They will flip-flop with Carolina. They will be the worst team in the NFL if Carolina literally beats them. And then that should be enough to fire Dennis Allen. If you're Mickey Loomis, if you were trying to salvage the season, because at that point, the Saints would be 2-7 and on a 7-game losing streak. That should put him on the street right away. He should be reported at fired at Monday, early Monday morning. There's been the first notification of the day is Dennis Allen is the head coach. Alert, breaking news. Dennis Allen, former Saints coach, has been fired. The interim coach is going to be Joe Woods. I know a lot of people say Darren Rizzi. People commenting to me, should be Darren Rizzi. And I'm like, fam, it's not going to be Darren Rizzi. Because they don't promote They rarely promote special teams coaches to head coaches. They don't do that. The only time in recent memory that happened was the Harbaugh dude in Baltimore, and he was done that because of the name of his family. His father was a coach. His brother was a coach. So when whoever the coach was, he got the axe, then they went and moved Harbaugh to the head coach level. They don't promote special teams coordinators to head coaches. They don't do that. They don't often do that. Maybe it was another dude that did it. I think Raiders did it too. One time. I don't know. Y'all remind me. I think the Raiders did it one time in the recent years, but it don't happen that often. It's like 1 or 2 times in the last 10 years, I want to say, that they do that. And if they do fire Dennis Allen if supposedly do this scenario that Dennis Allen loses to the Carolina Panthers and he gets fired, then the interim coach probably will be either Joe Woods or Rick Dennison. Why those guys? Because Joe Woods, these are experienced coaches. I think Joe Woods probably would be the best bet because I like Joe Woods' character and his ability to talk to the players. He's a straight-laced guy. I think he'll get the respect of the offense. I think he'll make the proper decisions to get the right guys in there. Rick Dennison, who's an offensive guy, I mean, maybe he installs and do something, but to me, it shouldn't be Clint Kubiak because he's not ready for that responsibility. He can't even adjust to what he has going. So no, he didn't earn a promotion in my book. So it probably, in my logic, it probably would be those guys, either Joe Woods or Rick Dennison. That's who I got. I mean, y'all might agree to disagree, but I do like Darren Rizzi, but they don't often do that. They don't promote special teams coordinators to head coaches. They don't do that. Very rarely. Like I said, like two of them in the last 10 years. I just don't see it happening. We'll see. We'll see. All right. And Jack says injuries is not an excuse because Mickey's making old air players play in low talent go against ones when it should be threes. It's all roster construction that falls on Mickey. Thank you, brother. Joe says probably win by 2 TDs. Saints. I've read this book before. Okay, Joe. Thank you, man. All right. Can you too? You shout out to you, fam. Says Saints won't cover the 7.5. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. That team's pretty bad, man. But then again, like I said, they plan for much more than that. M-Dot says you got more faith in them than me. 20 points seem like a stretch for these boys. It's bad. It's the team they playing against is not very good either, bro. These are like 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, bro, going at it. And really, I don't think the Saints, talent-wise, is a bad team. I just think they're ran by a untalented head coach. That's the problem with the Saints. The problem with the Saints on the field is leadership in terms of the coaching. And you cannot win despite the coach. The Saints had all this talent, but you can't win without it. And once Dennis Allen got in a hole, that sealed his demise. He can't coach himself out of no hole. He don't have the motivational ability. He just doesn't have it. And the players are not playing hard for Dennis Allen. They're not. Even Richard Sherman seen that. He's like, the Saints seem like they're trying to get him fired. Really? And I was like, to myself, I heard that. I was like, man, you mean to tell me that Tyrann Mathieu, the biggest Jazzy Jeffer, if there was a rap group and Dennis Allen was the Fresh Prince, then Tyrann Mathieu would be Jazzy Jeff. Dennis Allen's the fun coach. You don't have nothing bad to say about Dennis Allen. He dropped that interception, though. Richard Sherman said, hey, man, it looked like they're trying to get him fired. Oh, hey, man, listen. The will of the universe must be fulfilled. This guy is not supposed to be in this position, and the universe is correcting it. That's what it is. We're underneath a purge process. Atlanta had their purge last year. The Saints are having their purge this year. The only difference is hopefully the purge happens early enough where the Saints could be able to turn around, get rid of him, get an interim coach to inspire the team to put some wins together, and perhaps we can make a run. If not, then c'est la vie. C'est la vie. OG says they got 71% chance to win Sunday, but to Who That Nation, we all know what we want. Indeed, we want them gone. All right. So anyway, man, what's up, Liddell? Shout out to Lindell, man. What's up with you, bro? How you doing? All right, so anyway, fam, that'll be enough, man. I was going to play some stuff by Dennis Allen to kind of go over what he was saying about the team only meeting stuff that we seen. You remember he did talk about team only meetings and all that kind of stuff. Let me see if I'm gonna hear a little bit of that from him, and then we'll go. Then I'll go. Let me comment on that.
This year we were probably right around league average in terms of soft tissue injuries, time missed, all that kind of stuff. First year we were well above average, meaning better. This year we certainly, had a few more of those. So there's some things that we're going to do, to try to see if we can't figure out how to minimize that a little bit.
Is there anything specific about in practice injuries? I mean, have you increased pace or tempo or what you're doing? Or?
No, that hasn't changed. So, but there's going to be some other stuff, in terms of pre-practice that we're going to try to do to see if we can't minimize those things.
And 3 corners on your injury list, did any of them have a chance to play, or that would be ruled out?
No, I think Rico Payton has a chance.
Okay.
Kinstry and Lattimore both going to be out.
Is there anything you elaborate on what y'all can do to alleviate that?
Yeah, well, look, I think looking at hydration levels, a little more pre-practice, stretch, activation period. So those are a couple things that we're going to look at.
Is that something that you guys already changed today or next week, or how soon are those changes going to affect?
Yeah, those things will go into effect next week.
Thanks. Just getting an 11-year vet back at quarterback. How does that help with just some of the negative plays, all accumulated sacks?
Yeah, well, look, hopefully that'll have a big positive impact. I thought this week in practice, I thought offensively, we looked really sharp, and so, my hope is that carries over into the game. But I think anytime you get, a player like Derek that comes back, somebody with experience, he's broken a lot of huddles throughout his career. So just, being able to get the communication, everybody get lined up, make sure everybody's on the same page. I think that'll improve with a veteran quarterback back there.
A couple of the captains said that the meeting was at dinner. Where'd you guys go? Or?
We had dinner brought in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Little Cajun flair. All right. To get lined up, make sure everybody's on the same page. I think that'll improve with a veteran quarterback back there.
A couple of the captains said that the meeting was at dinner. Where'd you guys go? Or?
We had dinner brought in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little
Cajun flair. All right. Katie's was it?
When it comes to the quarterback situation there, do you plan to utilize Alontae Taylor the same way that you did it?
Let me just say this, man. They talked about that, had dinner, brung to the facility, eating dinner. That when I heard this yesterday, it pissed me off. It pissed me off very, very much so. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the New Orleans Saints are on a 6-game losing streak. This shouldn't be a feast. They shouldn't be sitting up eating. It shouldn't be none of that. That's the problem with these people, man. They sitting up here having shit catered. Ain't nothing, ain't no eating, ain't none of that. It should be, it's too docile, it's too passive. And when shit gets shaken like it stuff need to get to flying. Guys need to get cut. Trades need to be made. Threats need to be thrown because people out here collecting money and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not going out there. They're not making the tackles. They're not winning one-on-one matchups. They're not doing anything. There is, and listen, fam, if the coach is there, it's not a player-only meeting. So all this bullshit that you heard over the last several days or whatever the case had been about players-only meeting, it was a crock of crap. Pardon my French. It was a crock of crap. Because if Dennis Allen sit up in the players-only meeting, they're not talking about nothing because he's the part of the problem. The players-only meeting is the excluded from coaches, and the players need to get together and make it pop. They need to reassert themselves and lead them. Listen, fam, if I'm running a team, there ain't no smoke machines and lights in the locker room. There ain't no pool tables in the locker room. This is a business environment. I'm not for all that, especially if you want all that stuff. You you win me a Super Bowl. You give me a championship. You make me perennially in the playoffs playing in the NFC championships. How we got smoke machines, how we got flashing lights and these damn dudes dancing up in the locker room like it's a goddamn music video and we sit up here on the 6-game losing streak. They celebrating these wins like every win is a Super Bowl win. You be happy. You be happy you got it when you move on. But ain't no smoke machines and lights in the locker room. None of that. And then on top of that, what part of the game is you catering team only meeting? What are we doing here? How you bringing food to a bunch of effing players that's sitting up here on the 6-game losing streak? They don't deserve no damn food. They don't deserve to be catered. What are we talking about? This is a flipping joke. And then you knew it was some BS because they announced it, as opposed to just when you want to do something, you don't go and tell them, hey man, I'm going to do it. You just go and do it. And then tell me after it's done, hey man, we did a players only meeting. We got it together. But when they were asking them, hey, did y'all hold it? Because the press did a wonderful job of keeping the track on. Did y'all hold it? Oh no, we ain't do it just yet. What? So you just told us and whatever, we gonna do it eventually, man. Cajun flair. He's sitting up in there. Man, these people not serious about winning no games long term, family. How you mess up a players only meeting by bringing a coach in the building? The players only meeting is to talk to the players, the team leaders, the Cam Jordans, not the Demario Davises, the JT Gray. I think he's over this, whoever the special teams leader is, or whatever. They all the captains. The captains are the team leaders. The guys that are the captains over their particular units, those are the team leaders that's supposed to meet with the team inside of the locker room that's only access for the players. And it's supposed to be in a team only meeting. It's supposed to be cussing. It's supposed to be upsetness. It's supposed to be them pointing out who ain't doing their job and they need to step up. That's what's supposed to be going on. It ain't supposed to be no catered affair with them sitting up there eating while they talk about what's wrong with the team. Y'all don't deserve to have no catered shit under a 6-game losing streak, because I don't believe in rewarding losers. That's why I'm under an economic boycott, because the Saints been losing for the last several years. We don't support no losers, and I'm not for catering no event to some losers and they stay on the 6-game goddamn losing streak. You don't deserve no catered food. What are we talking about here, man? That pissed me off when I first heard that, fam. What are we doing here? That was a crock of crap. All this players only crap. 6, and it's like I was like, man, 6 game. That's why I kept questioning and saying it to the who that name. I'm like, man, listen, man, how do we get 6 games into a losing streak before the players get up off the ass and call a team only meeting? That didn't sound no. So you because we're tired of their quotes. I think Elvin said, because we're tired of being losers. That was the quote I think he gave to Nick Underhill on the tweet. In my opinion, it didn't sound right. Not saying that it didn't happen, but the fact of the matter is you wait 6 games, 6 straight losing streaks before these guys, we need to have a player only meeting. Then they don't even have a players only meeting with him sitting up in there. Purge is real, man. We just see what I'm saying? All this fake BS and crap is being called out soon as it happened. Before it was a delay. Before it was, well, I've always been on it. I've been on their neck. I've been criticized and saying, man, this dude hate the Saints. They were telling me that 2-3 year old, he hate the Saints because I hold them to a tough standard. And I guarantee people that's saying that they children breaking in houses and shit because they don't. Man, listen, man. If I love you, man, I'm gonna look out for you, man. If I love you, I'm gonna be there for you. I'm that dude. I'm that ride or die dude. If I love you, I'm gonna be there with you. If you screwing up, I'm gonna check you. I ain't gonna placate you and let you fall into nothingness. I'm gonna do my best to speak my mind, man, whether you like it or lump it. That's how people that really love and care for people supposed to do. They're supposed to give you the real. That's what we can only hope to have somebody real enough in our lives to do stuff like that, to tell us the unmitigated truth. Because they love you, they have no agenda and no axe to grind. They just want to see you grow and prosper. That's the ultimate person that these people, it's different. I guess love means different things to different people. That's what it is. But then I've always been tough on the Saints, especially when it came down to this losing. I've always been on you in the BS meter. It's like, man, it's a superpower, a spidey power, a spidey sense. Because it don't sound right. Nobody like 6-game losing streak before people start talking about a players only meeting. Then they just babble it out. They don't actually go and do it. And I'm like, in my head, why didn't they do that shit and then tell you after, well, yeah, we already had it, man. We talked about it. We're going to do something different. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. No. You heard what Cam Jordan said in that interview. And then here go Dennis Allen. Yeah, we such and such. We had a cater. We had a little cage and flat. What are you doing up in there? But my next question as a reporter is, wait, hold on. What the hell are you doing up in the players only meeting? You're the reason for the players only meeting. What the hell you doing in there, Dennis Allen? What the hell you doing up in the players only meeting? You the reason for the players only meeting. Well, yeah, I've got it, You the reason. What the hell? You see what I'm saying, fam? Did you hear me? Fam, what the hell is Dennis Allen doing in the players only meeting? And he's the reason for the players only meeting. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. He's not supposed to be there. He's the reason for it. If he was doing his job, there would be no need to have a players only meeting. A players only meeting is almost like a form of mutiny. The players have broken away from the coach and they have decided that this leadership is subpar and that we need to lead ourselves. So it's basically taking the coach and throwing him. Well, if he was a captain of a ship, he lucky he ain't a boat captain. As I'm bitch lucky he ain't he a ship captain because he'll be food for the crocodiles. He'd be sashaying in the bottom of the Gulf somewhere if he was the captain back in the 1800s on a pirate ship. Let me tell you something. He wasn't leading them nowhere. He'd be food for the crocodiles and the sharks. That's basically a mutiny. What the hell is Dennis Allen doing in the players only meeting? And he catered it. That means it's not a players only meeting. Man, these people are not serious about it. Hold on, fam. Before I'm about to get out of here, but let me get a wellness check, man. Let me see some. Put your hands up. Give me a hand emoji if everybody's fine out here. I'm gonna do a wellness check before we leave. Let's put your hands up if you're feeling good, fam. Let me if you're well, besides the Saints that's making you crazy. That's all right. We good. It's a purging going on, but just put your hand up and give me a 1 if you all right. Oh man, crazy, man. This is some crazy stuff, ain't it, family? What is Dennis Allen doing in the players only meeting? And he the reason for the players only meeting, and he catered it. What the hell is going on Airline Drive? Wow. I see y'all, fam. I sit up and listen. I was like, what? What is going on? Fam, did y'all hear that? The man asked him how the players only meet. Well, we had a little Cajun flair. He said it with a little, you seen he kind of sashayed with it. It was kind of a weird, look at what he said. The way he's.
Do you plan to utilize Alontae Taylor the same way that you did?
Hold on. Look how he responded to the question, though. Watch his body action when he said his body emotions when he said it.
And Flair. All right. Katie's was it.
Look at it. Look what he said. If I can get him to act right, come on. Let me get you to act right. Oh my goodness, what's going on, man? What's going on with these crazy, crazy people?
The team captain said that the meeting was at dinner. Where'd you guys go? Or
we had dinner brought in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Little Cajun flair. All right. Katie's was it?
See, body energy and the body pattern, right, of Dennis Allen asked this question: does the meeting look like it was this uncomfortable for him? Huh? Huh? Look at his face. So if it was a rough meeting, you would have seen a different expression. It would have been a different energy. Obviously, by this, after he said what he said, he had this facial expression, which obviously lent itself to the fact that it wasn't a very difficult meeting. Because they was in there eating, getting their bellies full. They were smiling and laughing as opposed to talking over how we're going to turn the season around. And if it was talked about, I'm pretty sure it wasn't talked about in the energy that you would want it to be talked about, because the energy you would want it to be talked about would necessarily, it would definitely be the energy needed to force such a change. But this is all par for the course. None of this was a players only meeting with Dennis Allen in there at the players only meeting, catering the joint. And he let it to be known, yeah, they paid for it. So how much angst they bought their souls for a dinner? People ain't serious, man. That's why I say, man, y'all just lay back in the cut and enjoy the show, man. Keep your money in your pocket, man. Please, man. Keep your money in the pocket. This is bull crap, man. Ain't no players only beating, man. After 6 straight losing games, catered players only meeting with the head coach who's responsible for the losing in the meeting, and his face. This is his face right after the comment. Look at his face. Look at it. Do he look like he's uncomfortable? I said, you know what? I'm done. That done did me, man. I'm up out. I'm done, y'all. Hey, listen, man. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Much love. And a shout out to our sponsors, man. Mint Mobile. We talked about how high this economy is, man. Please do yourself a service. At least do some research and check out Mint Mobile, man. Check out their prices. Go to Mint Mobile. The link is in the description section below, and at least investigate the prices. Check them against your phone bill. I know if you a person that have multiple, like me and my sons have phones, and they're on my phone's service. They're, all the same. So I'm telling y'all, man, when I made the switch and checked out Mint Mobile, man, and the prices, it was a good switch, man. I really saved some money doing that, especially on cell phone service, and the coverage is very good. Man, check out Mint Mobile. I'm telling you. That's why we got some of these sponsors, because it's stuff that we could use. Teach Henley is something for the brothers, health skincare for the brothers, to help them out, to make sure, they make their lady happy or themselves happy. They might be just feeling themselves in that game, and want to look good. That's fine. Teach Henley, do that. 20 to 40% off the description section. And Bet Online. If you can't make money with the Saints, make money on the Saints, because they do it on you. Win, lose, or draw. They don't cut you a deal, do they? No, they don't. So anyway, those links are in the description section below. Also, merch links. Since we are not buying Saints merch, buy some merch from the Pro Shop. We got some, with the Saints going up against the Falcons coming up soon. We have that Rise Up to Fall Down gear is available. The Fire Dennis Allen shirts are available at the Pro Shop. Also, other gear. The Show Me gear is available. The links are in the description section below. And also, to support the platform, you can go to our link tree. That link is in the description section below as well. So with that being said, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow at about 11:45 for the preview stream for the Saints and Carolina Panthers matchup. We'll have a ball tomorrow, but listen, for tonight, man, y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all night. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all keep y'all heads up, stay positive, and I'll holler at you later. Who that to you? And I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup, breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. With the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online. The game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who That.